Wrong. That is wrong. Here we go. Here we are back in the world of Elite Dangerous to answer more questions about Elite Dangerous. And we're going to do some space mining and help one of our watchers or viewers with their ship. So here we are in Elite Dangerous. THC Eva Melon, I hope you're out there. We are going to we're going to help you set up your adder for space mining. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find a station near me that has an adder, and hopefully we can help you set your ship up. We'll give you some time because we're going to have to probably travel to that station. Give me a second. Real quick here. We have to find a station that has an adder at it. Okay, good. There's one that's really close to me. Searfoss Market has an adder at it. Thank you, Rilu. Alright, now let's go travel to that station. Something market. Or is that market? Searfoss Market. Okay. Let's go ahead and launch. We'll go ahead and buy an adder for our purposes here.
Detach is good. Observe queuing system when exiting the station.
Copy that.
Landing gear retracted.
Copy that. Let's go out to Searfoss Station, go buy an adder, and let's try to set one up for space mining here. Oh! Wow, the Anaconda is so hard to fit out of the mail slot. Get out of being mass locked here.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
I'm inviting someone to interdict me. I would love for someone... Hey, Chris, what's what? No, don't worry about it, dude. You can always ask questions, man. That's why you don't have to... You can feel free to talk about whatever you want, man. This is a... I need to kind of change the mood of this channel to kind of like all around. I mean, because, you know, I don't play just one type of game, you know? I know the channel's kind of formatted for racing games, but I didn't... The reason why I started playing more other games is because I don't want to end up like the other guys that do Gran Turismo, who are kind of stuck doing Gran Turismo now because you know, that's what they started off with. Oh, you can't chat on the PS4. Oh, that sucks. What are you chatting on right now? Are you on a computer right now, or are you on? You know, you can chat on the phone too. You can use your phone to chat. It's like talking to you, man. Oh, you're on your computer? Are you being booted off your computer? You know, you can do it on the phone too. I'm gonna get you playing Elite Dangerous, Chris. Yeah, exactly. Flip open the phone. Taking over the living room. I guess I'm kind of spoiled because I've got no family. My only family is my army of computers and, and my PlayStation, and my army of music making computers and stuff. We've got a Mac for the music making, and I use the Mac also for double computing. But the stream is actually being streamed off of a PC. I don't have a dog. Well, my dog is my roommate. My roommate has a dog. Yeah, I have an army of music equipment and computers and remote control cars and vehicles and models. The models are probably the biggest part of my family. I've got about 110 of those things sitting above my head, and about 30 stowed away. Really big into model making, but I just can't afford it right now. Yeah, I've got a ton of models. I build models like crazy. That's why I'm really big into games like Planet Coaster and stuff. I'm a son of an engineer. I'm a son of an engineer, so if there's tinkering involved, then I'm gonna be there. I love tinkering. I love tinkering. I love building stuff. I like taking stuff apart. God, there was not one toaster in my childhood that did not get taken apart. My mom and dad would hate it. I would take apart phones. I would take apart everything in the house. I think that's why they finally got me a Nintendo. They're like, you're not going to take that apart. But I eventually ended up taking it apart at some point. When the door on my Nintendo stopped working, I was like, okay, I gotta take this thing apart to fix that. I'm just one of those people that likes to take things apart, you know, and put them back together. That's why the RC world was funny, because I would build my RCs, but then as soon as they were built, I wouldn't have as much fun. I mean, it's not that I didn't like driving them around, but I had way more fun building them. I think that's with most people that do RCs. I think that's why a lot of people have a lot of RC vehicles. The ones that are really into it, because they don't realize that they have more fun building it than they do running it. I have like 2 crawlers, 3 drift cars. We got 1 race car up there, but I never use that. So I set it up as a drifting car. This channel actually was going to start out as a model building RC channel, but that takes a lot more work than doing video games. And honestly, I bought the PlayStation off of friends of mine who's getting rid of a PS. He's always away from home, so he bought this PS4 Pro thinking that he was going to take it with him on his trips, but he ended up not taking it with him because it was too big. So he sold me this, like 10 games and a PSVR setup for $200. With 2 controllers and a controller recharging cradle. We're going to Searfrost Market. I'm going to buy an adder, and I'm going to help you set up your adder, Melon. Hopefully Psycho Mike will make it over here too, so I can give you guys some ins and outs of mining. Everything in the system is so far apart. This station has an adder for sale, so we'll pick up an adder. At least according to the Elite Dangerous database, it says that there's an adder here for sale, so we'll pick one up. We'll set it up. We'll set it up and then we'll sell it. I've got 146 mil in the bank right now, so I could probably buy pretty much 3 of everything at this point. I haven't had an adder in forever, man. That was like my first... That was the first ship I bought back in the day. Searfoss Market. You're actually not too far from me. If you're in at Coelho Station, I'm actually pretty close to you where I'm at right now. I kind of came back toward the middle of the bubble here. We call this area the bubble, which is pretty much where everyone is. This one particular sector. I'll check it out in a second, Reeler. I'm making a planetary approach, or an orbital approach right now. I can shut that all off. I'd rather not see the orbital lines. Sometimes it helps, though. That's nice, though. It's nice to be able to shut them off. That'll make making thumbnails a lot easier for this game. I wish when you went into free camera mode you wouldn't see the orbital lines, but it still displays them. Pretty sure now when I go into free camera mode I won't see the orbital lines. It helps to see where your orbital is, but aside from that, it's kind of an eyesore. Planet's inhabited. I wish you could land on those planets, but maybe we'll be able to do that in Odyssey when Odyssey comes out. There's another game that's supposed to be like this coming out this year, but they always threaten that they're going to come out, but they never come out. It's called Star Citizen. Star Citizen actually looks like a really amazing game, but they've been promising that game ever since this game was in development, which was 6 years ago. It actually really surprises me that they're still threatening to release that game. There's a whole legacy to... If you ever want to see a legacy for a game being released, go check out Star Citizen. Searfoss Market, request docking.
Landing permission granted. You are clear for approach to pad 2-4.
Copy that. Approaching a pad 2-4. Ooh, Searfoss Market's a weird looking place. Alternate flight controls are your friend. Yeah, alternate flight controls. I honestly...
Caution.
Evil Melon, if you're having problems with landing, it might be because you're still in... You need to set up your alternate flight controls so that it will help you for landing. It'll probably make it easier. Ooh, I just made it in there without scraping. That's the first time I think I've not scraped the Anaconda coming into one of these, into the mail slot.
Landing gear deployed.
Let's do some of that. Do some evening out. And we'll go into alternate flight control and edge her over. So lower throttle. Look at that. Almost perfect. Alright. Let's go underneath and let's go buy an adder. I will set up an adder for mining for you. I'll just sell it as soon as I'm done setting it up. That is whether or not. Hopefully, this market will have the parts to do the setup. Normally, if it's got a market, normally if the ship is in the market, they'll have parts for it in the market. You guys better have an adder. Ah, they do. Oh, I remember this little ship. I remember this little ship all too well. Oh, and you got... Oh, man. That's tough. +1 empty medium hard point. 2 empty utility mounts. Yeah, you don't have a whole heck of a lot of... I would get rid of your Super Cruise Assist. I would get rid of your advanced docking computer and just learn how to land. Okay, let's just go ahead and buy this thing. And then, Psycho Mike, you have a Viper, which is not much bigger. Let me look and see what you... So you got... Now... We'll buy both ships, just and try to set both of them up for you guys. Yeah, I would get rid of the Viper, honestly. You've got 142 mil, or 142,000 at least in the ship. At the very least. I don't know what you've got on your ship, but I would go ahead and just get a Cobra Mark III. And that's kind of... This is the ship that most people will save up for. Like it depends. The Viper is good for combat. The Adder is good for courier missions. The Cobra Mark III blows them both away as far as, like, combat missions, speed, whatever. The Cobra Mark III is the first ship that you should really be, like, trying to get at. Because at 349,718 credits, you get... you start off with 2 pulse lasers, which I ended up swapping out. But then you get 2 additional empty small hard points, which you can put cannons on or whatever. So that gives you 4 hard points to start off with. Hey, what's up, Callum? How you doing, man? Yeah, if you can almost afford the Cobra, go out and do whatever you can to afford the Cobra. You should, when you pull into Coelho, check and see whether or not if you trade in your Adder and how it's equipped right now, you might be able to afford a Cobra. I would go ahead and get the Cobra, dump the advanced docking computer, dump the Super Cruise Assist. That gives you 2 spots for mining for at least your pulse emitter, which you're going to need for mining, and I think another space for the detailed surface scanner, which you're going to need for mining as well. I saw you were playing. What's it called? Elite Dangerous, Callum. Don't even lie. I saw that in Discord. It said playing Elite Dangerous. I was like, oh, Callum's playing Elite Dangerous right now. Yeah, well, look, we're both unemployed, so you don't need sleep anyway. You can sleep whenever you want to. You can sleep whatever. Yeah, Elite Dangerous is dope. Uh-oh, Mikey's playing some Gran Turismo. So, if either one of you, Melon or well, you are paying for. Why aren't you doing the 24 hours of Daytona like everyone else? Oh wait, you probably have to be some higher class to do the 24-hour, don't you? Jimmy Broadbent and all those guys are doing the 24-hour at Daytona right now. Yeah, either one of you, Melon or Mike, if you guys can, and this goes for you, Mike. I know you probably have the Viper because you like attacking people, or I don't know if you like attacking people, but the Cobra is the Cobra is the ship that you want to be in. If you're in your early game, the Cobra is the one and only ship. I actually was in this ship the longest. I went into my mid game with the ship, and I could have honestly probably continued playing with it. Really, Rubens Barrichello and Max Verstappen, really? Yeah, Mike, you're gonna want a Cobra. The Cobra will do a way better job than the Viper. I mean, the Viper is a good ship. Don't get me wrong. The Viper is a decent ship. But it's kind of a one-trick pony. It's good at attacking. It's very maneuverable. But honestly, the Cobra is more maneuverable. Its top speed isn't as high, but you can get it higher. The boost speed is much higher than the Viper. Unladen, the Cobra's got a further distance for frame shift drive to start off with. Less shields, but it has more armor than the Viper. Hull mass is much greater with it, and it's got way more hard points. And honestly, I mean, look at that. Just right off the bat, you'll be able to carry way more. Because to start off with, it has... you can honestly get rid of the 4E shield generator and go down to the 3E. And make that 4E rack a larger rack. And that's what I did. I got rid of the 3E rack, and I went to... I put a 3E shield generator, or a 3A or something in there. And I replaced the 4E spot with a cargo rack. Yeah, you probably need more people to do 24-hour races, man. Yeah, if either one of you guys can afford a Cobra, I would go ahead and upgrade. I don't know, Melon, you said you have almost enough. See what you can get, because when you trade in your ship, check and see what components you want to keep. And see what the trade-in price is for that. You should have done the 24 hours, man. I think it would have been fun. All right, let's go ahead and set up the adder real quick. Let's go ahead and purchase this thing. Wow, it's only $87,000. I could buy like 10 of these things and still have room to boot. Look at it. If I exchanged this ship from the current ship, they would owe me $442,287,335. Too much pain the next day. Oh, while we're waiting? Okay. I'll wait. I'll wait for you. I'll just continue talking about how awesome the Cobra Mark III is. The Cobra Mark III is I'm going to actually buy another one. Maybe I will buy another one just right now, just for the hell of it. I've been wanting another one of these because this is a great ship. This is a really, really good ship. It's one of the best ships in the game. I mean, definitely to start off with. And it's hard with this game because they don't tell you what ship is good for what, really. So you kind of have to base it off of what it says on the right hand side. But just out of experience, because I've owned both the Viper and the Adder, had I done it a different way, I would have just went straight to the Cobra. The Cobra does everything that either one of those ships can do and way much more. Ooh, that does not sound good, Callum. Yeah, I wouldn't go near the Adder. Had I done this earlier, I would have never bought the Adder. It looks good. Oh, sorry. Changing my chairs here. It looks good on paper, but it's not a very good ship. I was really glad when I got out of it, actually. I was incredibly glad when I got out of the Adder. I jumped into the Viper, and then I went immediately from the Viper to the Cobra. I think I flew the Viper for maybe a couple days, and then I was like, you know what? I've got enough money to get a Viper or a Cobra, so I'll just get the Cobra. Type 6 transporter I would stay away from unless you want to get shot at. The Dolphin's supposed to be a good ship. Now we're getting into the big money ships. I can tear through both of these with my Anaconda. I destroyed both of these ships at some point in the last couple days. Both of them were so easy to tear through. No Cobra available, huh? Where are you at, Coelho? Hold on, give me a second. I'll find you a Cobra. What system is Coelho in? Yeah, what system is it in? Actually, I could probably look it up here. Oh, Matet. That's right. That's right. Sorry. I was just in Matet. Was just at Coelho. Or we could set up your Adder, but I would honestly go get a Cobra if you have enough money. It looks like Mawson Dock and Dromi has one. Dromi spelled Dromi. And you're looking for a place called Mawson Dock. Like Dawson with an M. It's about 7 light years from you. So it should be at least one jump, I think. Do you see it on your, Maybe we can meet you there. How far are we from Matet? Or how far are we from Mawson Dock? That's in Dromi. Let's see if I can meet you there. Dromi. I also just upgraded. Oh, that's pretty far from me. I just upgraded my my FSD so I can do huge jumps now. That's 106. That's still quite a ways here. Oh, you can't go into that one though because it requires Pilots Federation district permit. So the next one is Michelson Port in Cattle. Let's see. I'm looking this all up on the EDDB. When in doubt, always use EDDB. And it's spelled EHECATL, like that. Ooh, that's quite a bit of ways. Oh, it's right next to Matet though. Matet's right there. So it should only be like one jump for you. Yeah, I just said that. But Matet's right next to a kettle. So you should be able to just, that's like one jump. At least for me, that would be one very short jump for me. Access toggle. Yeah, I should be able to make it there. It shouldn't take you too long either. We'll go ahead and refuel. It's only 28 bucks. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna buy a Cobra. I'm gonna buy a Cobra because I want one. I like the old Cobra. I had mine all tricked out too. I don't want to switch into the car. Oh man, that sucks. I guess I can't buy one because I've got way too much cargo in my ship right now. I wish they would just leave all my cargo in my ship. I guess I have to do this when I don't have any cargo in my ship. I'm not going to dump at these commodity prices though. Or at this market price, because this market price is going to blow for everything that I've got in there. Yep, not even going to touch it. Wow, they're really ripping you off in this system. Holy smokes. That's like $700,000 less than Galaxy prices right now. You guys are bastards here. Can I get rid of some of my cartographics? Probably not. Probably not for these prices. Nah, forget it. Not for $411,000. You guys can go bone yourself. You can go screw yourselves. You guys gonna take in my bounties? Nope. I've got like $1 million. I got like $2 million worth of bounties. I need to get rid of them. I need to go to the systems that these bounties are good in. Just for that one, I've got 1 million. I got $1,600. Bet $1,600,000 worth of bounties sitting in my my transaction tray here. Yeah, in order for me to help you set the Cobra up, I kind of need to be here. Self-destruct. Who would ever want to self-destruct their ship? This will give me time, though, to figure out where exactly I'm going to dump this stuff at. I still want to mine more here. I honestly put in because I ran out of seismic charges. I really should probably get another seismic charge launcher and put on my ship. Just so I don't have to keep on putting it. I just don't want to lose the, I just don't want to lose one, I'm going to have to lose a hard point for it. You were stuck in a neutron star, you had to self-destruct your ship. You couldn't get out of it? Can you not hit your FSD when you're stuck in a neutron star? I still have to look up on how to use the neutron star for because you can go super far if you can figure out how to get in and out of there. Really. I think you might have to FSD into it. Oh, okay. Yeah, I need to go check that out and see what that is. Because you can go super far if you can get into the right spot and overcharge in there. Do you have to have an engineered FSD? Really? Oh, that sounds terrible. Maybe that's what I'll use a Cobra for. Maybe the Cobra I'll use as a test bed for flying in and out of the neutron star. Yeah, that's interesting. I've watched one person do it before, and I was like, "That's dope." That's super sweet. I've run into, at least to get out to where I am now, I flew through like 2 neutron stars, so I at least know where 2 neutron stars are. Now let's talk about let's go look at the Cobra and how would I set the Cobra up for mining. If you guys are doing laser mining, what I would do with the Cobra, or the Cobra. I would probably put 2 small hard points. I would do 1 beam laser, 1 multi-cannon. Because you're going to need a mining laser. You only need 1 mining laser, right? So you could possibly put in the spots for the 1F pulse laser, just put 1 mining laser in there, and then keep the pulse laser that comes with the ship, just for this, for economy's sake, keep the 1 pulse laser comes with, and switch out the 2 small hard points for 2 multi-cannons. Just so that you can defend yourself. Or if you really want to, you can honestly just get rid of all the weapons altogether and just make the ship as fast as possible. So that you can just get out of trouble as soon as you get interdicted, or whether or not, if someone tries to come and attack you, you can always not put any weapons in those spots. Utility hard mounts are going to need to have a pulse wave scanner. So that's going to be 1 hard mount or utility mount. And you're going to need a detailed surface scanner. So that will take up both of your utility hard mounts. And then, like I said, for optional internal, dump Super Cruise Assist, dump Advanced Docking Computer. You don't need either one of those things. That'll yield you some money, I think. And downgrade your shield generator to a 3, maybe like a 3D or something like that. And replace that shield generator spot, that 4E, with a with a cargo rack, so you can get as much as you can. I would keep the lightweight alloys. Definitely make sure your thrusters are decent, and your frame shift drive is decent. Keep the 3 life support. You don't need to update that. Keep the 3 power distributor. You probably won't need to mess with that too much. Just because what's going to eventually happen is once you start filling out your ship, you're going to start drawing more power. The higher grade modules you put in, the more power it's going to suck down out of your power supply. The way I have my ship set up right now, it's still applicable, even though I'm in an Anaconda. Is if you look here down at modules, and you'll see this when you're setting your ship up. Here, well, let me demonstrate here. So, say I wanted to buy something, modules for my ship here. Mike, I know you've had issues with this before too as well. So this might answer some questions for you. You know, you're tempted, really tempted to upgrade everything to like to the A grade, right? Because that's what would make sense, is to get the A everything. Honestly, that isn't really the case in this game. You find what systems are really, really important to you, right? So the power plant I try to get the best power plant possible. I mean, I could honestly downgrade, but if you look down here at retracted and deployed, if I were to downgrade at this point, I wouldn't be able to carry half the stuff that I am, because I'm already over my milliwatts, right? So if I went down to a 6A power plant, that would really screw me. I'd have to take a bunch of stuff off my ship in order to do that. It would increase my my top speed would increase, my boost speed would increase, and my light year jump level would increase as well. Just because of the mass of my power plant, since my power plant's a 6A. But this little bar here for milliwatts would definitely be much shorter, right? I wouldn't be able to deploy as much if I were to go down to a smaller power plant in this ship. So I go ahead and just go ahead and get the biggest power plant available, because that'll allow me more power for when my stuff is deployed. It will adversely affect everything else, but I mean, in the long run, at least in my opinion, in the long run, it pays off. The thrusters, since I am mining, are really important. Like, I want to get the best thrusters possible when I'm mining, because I need the ship to be maneuverable. That might not be the case for the smaller ships like the Cobras, or, they're small enough that, a lower thruster would probably be adequate. But for this big ship, I kind of want the best thrusters possible, so I can be as maneuverable as possible. So I never really skimp on the thrusters. I try to find the best thrusters I can, but it does, as we look here, it does affect a whole bunch of stuff, right? If I were to downgrade right now, my power draw from the power supply would be better, but my minimum mass, my optimum mass, my maximum mass, minimum multiplier, and my maximum multiplier would go down. I'm taking a huge hit in all of my masses, which just means that I'm going to be lighter, but once again, I'm not going to be as maneuverable. Frame shift drive, I honestly get the highest one so I can just jump further with it. I mean, I could probably honestly go down to like a 6E and just engineer the hell out of it. And it would also help my power draw. whatever you do, you don't want to get your power draw into the red there, because at that point you're going to have to go into your module screen and do a lot of finagling there in order to get your ship to actually run. Because what happens is once you retract or you deploy whatever is on, once you deploy all of your stuff, you're gonna lose your ship. Basically, you're gonna lose any kind of power to any of the other modules that you might have attached to your ship. I went to 5D life support because who cares? I actually wouldn't mind having a 5E in here. All it really affects is how much time it takes for how much time you have left in order to survive with the life support on. I'm gonna actually go to a 5E. Yeah, I really don't care. It gives me 5 minutes to get to space. Like, it's 2 minutes difference. And honestly, if I'm gonna get to down to that point in combat where I'm having to survive a life support, then that's my own damn fault. So I'm gonna actually go down to a 5E. We'll exchange that and we'll make $47,000 off of that. There we go. I had a 5A in here, but it was just too much. It's honestly, the life support's only for if you get so damaged that your cockpit is like blown out and you need life support. Right? That's the only reason that you would want a 5A life support system. Maybe in a smaller ship you might want it. Or an A life support system. But you really don't need it. I mean, like I said, it gives you your time limit for you to get from wherever you are without oxygen in your cabin to the nearest space station to repair. 5 minutes should be plenty enough time. And then honestly, if you're getting into that type of situation where you're getting that damaged, you're gonna want to like bone up on how to dogfight, because that's telling me that you aren't maneuvering enough in the dogfight, that you're getting that damaged during a dogfight. And there's a whole method to dogfighting properly. You can't just go blasting in there with your throttle all the way up. Dogfighting is all about thrusters, and that's another reason why you should really get the best thrusters you can possible, because that will, when you get into a dogfight with another ship, you'll be able to maneuver faster. Dogfighting is all about thrusters, and it's all about your boost. That's all about, and keeping your nose trained on whatever target it is that you're attacking, and staying behind it or wherever its hard points are. You want to stay, definitely, if you go up against an Anaconda, you do not want to go against the ship head on, because I've shredded so many ships head on with this thing, because they'll come at me from the front. That's where all my hard points are. Like, the trick to going against an Anaconda is getting behind it, because you're behind all the hard points at that point. That's another good thing about the Cobra, and the hard points on that ship are on top. The two medium, or the two smaller hard points are on top. So if you have gimbaling guns, it actually has a pretty decent range. But you still don't want anyone getting behind you, because once someone gets behind you, they can really wreak some havoc. That's what I do with this thing. This thing, I just get behind someone and I shred them in seconds. But it's all a matter of boosting and thrusters when you get into a dogfight. So there's a real a lot of people will make the mistake of just gunning it and trying to turn their ship around, and just attacking with no like strategy whatsoever. But you really need to make usage of your boosters and your thrusters when you're in a dogfight. Let's see what else. Frame shift drive, once again, is something that you want to have the best of. Sensor suite, not so much. You can probably go down to an 8. You can probably go down to an E sensor suite. I just have an A sensor suite because I do a lot of mining and the range on it's way longer. Okay, the range on the sensors are way longer. It does take a lot of power draw, but I mean, I'll take that hit just so I have the longer range sensors on it. I just do this honestly because I can. And then the fuel tank, normally that's whatever fuel tank you're going to get. I've never been able to find a fuel tank. I'm not sure if that even exists. I'm sure maybe it does. I don't know. Utility mounts. Now that I've gotten rid of... Okay, so this is going to be a good tutorial on how to judge your deployed. I have a tiny bit of space that I might be able to put another shield booster on here. Let's see if I put a C. If I put an A shield booster, I'm definitely over wattage here. B, C, and D. Yeah, I don't even have enough power to run another shield booster. There is a way around it, but once again, you're gonna have to mess around with your module screen. I should probably put a point defense turret on here, which would still put me below. Why not? Let's do it. Let's buy one. That way, if someone launches a missile at me, it'll just automatically blow stuff away. But I can do that because I downgraded my power supply down to an E. The chances of me using this are slim to none, but I might as well. You know, I can't fit anything else on these empty utility mounts because it's gonna be too much power draw on it on my power plant. And then optional internal. For mining, you definitely want a refinery. We've already talked about that. You probably don't. I probably don't need a 3A prospector Olympic controller, but I did because I can. Power draw on a smaller Olympic controller probably would be better. I can't remember what my. I can't remember what the benefit of a 3A prospector Olympic is. Oh, boot time, active range, significantly different. And the limpet time, significantly different. Well, apparently I have an indefinite lifetime? What, really? I mean, that comes into play when you're really kind of worried about how many limpets I throw out there and how long they last. I don't think they last indefinitely, though. I've never had it. My limpet's still... Oh, the limpet lifetime. Oh. Well, maybe I will go down to a 3C then. Because I don't need that limpet to stay alive for that long. I just need it to live for as long as it takes to read an asteroid. That would gain me more time or more power off of my power supply. Maybe I should go down to a C on that one. Interesting, Italian. That's interesting. Active range is nice, though. But I'm never that far away. Maybe I will downgrade this. Does that affect my light year jump? No, it doesn't look like it does. It does affect my power draw, though. Substantially. Oh, okay. I see what's going on here. That wasn't even a prospector limpet. Do you guys have prospector limpets here? No, they don't. You know, I'm going to keep the 3A for the collector limpet. This is not really affecting my power too much. And it doesn't affect my light speed jump time by 0.06. That's not enough for me to really... It does take a little less power, but... Nah, we'll keep that at A. Sweet fuel scoop. Yeah, just take off what you want to keep from the Cobra or from the adder, and then you can install those onto the Cobra. So you can store whatever it is that you don't want off of the adder, and then slam it into the Cobra. You're gonna probably want to keep, depending on what that particular marketplace has, you're gonna probably want to keep your mining. Just look around and see what they don't have that you have, and keep that stuff. Yeah, I would keep what you, like I said, what they don't have there, and just hold on to that, and then slam that into the Cobra once you buy the Cobra. Ooh, you're buying your first Cobra. This is exciting. What did I change that needs to be in a fire group? I changed my life support system. That's the, oh, you know what? I put that point defense system on. Man. Now I'm going to make a whole other fire group for that. I forget that thing. I'm going to get rid of it. I don't need it. I keep on buying it and then just getting rid of it every time I get rid of it. I'm just too lazy. I don't want to sign a fire group for that thing. Outfitting. I'm gonna need it though eventually, but I really don't care about it right now. Actually, no, I do need to go on to planets now, because I really only need it for like having to deal with the Guardian, all the Guardian sites and all the Thargoid sites, because that'll protect me in my SRV. But this should be, I don't understand. This thing should be automatic. It should come on automatically with everything else that, let's get rid of it. I'll buy one if I need one. Give me my $18,000 back. So, now we're going to get into modules. This is your module power screen. It'll tell you which modules are taking up power and which ones don't. Obviously none of the cargo racks do. Doesn't look like the scanners take any power. Anything that has a 1 next to it means it gets priority 1. So whatever is on right now is priority 1. I can honestly probably take the seismic chargers, seismic charge launcher. I could take anything that's mining related. I could probably take off of. That's if I was having problems with power management. right? If you're having problems with power management, you can come into this screen and shut down whatever it is that's causing you to shut down, because that's what's going to happen. Oh yeah. Well, you're gonna have to make more videos in Teleon. So say for example, my multi-cannons are causing me to dump in power. What I could do is find something either in the list, like if I need it at that point in time, I can find something in this list that I can redirect power to and switch it to like priority 2. That way it's not now, for example, my sensors are now on priority 2, so they are not drawing any power. I'd have to get into a situation where, can I force it to overload? I need to find something I can force into overload. Anyways, if I was overloading in power and my ship just stopped running altogether, I would try to find what module is causing the power drain and put it on priority 2, which would essentially shut down that module. This actually comes in handy more during situations where you are smuggling. Yeah, I generally try to keep my ship down to where I don't have to change in the priority levels. But this is where you would go if you are having problems with deploying. At one point in time, I had a bunch of shield generators on this ship. And once they got deployed, my ship would lose power. So in order for me to get my power back up, I would just I switched them all to priority 2, and the ship came back to me. I wish you could change around, and I think there is a way of changing which priority level you're on. That way you could make different profiles for different things. Like you could make a different profile for gun running, for example, or for mining, where you don't need to have the kill warrant scanner on. You don't need to have, you know, some of this stuff on. There is a way of switching from 1 to 2, and I can't remember how to do it. Let me see. Is there a hotkey for switching module priority? I don't think there is. I can't remember that. It's such a long time ago since I messed with all of that stuff. There might be a hotkey for that where you can make different profiles for different priorities. I would imagine it would be in miscellaneous somewhere. Balance power distribution, no. Oh, mode switches. Maybe that's what it is. No. Interface mode. Nope. Nope. That's all driving stuff. For camera suite. Follow me. Full spectrum scan. System scanner. Oh, that's just the FSS. Detailed surface scanner. No. It would be kind of cool if you could switch modes. Module mode, so you can flight miscellaneous? No. I guess there is no module control here. I mean, it would be nice. It would be nice to be able to swap to different priorities. I mean, now how the game is set up, you have to come over to the screen and just shut down whatever modules you don't want running, so that you can run whatever modules. Because you can if you wanted to run all equipment on a ship and have your ship literally overloaded with stuff, but you're gonna run into power problems. So you have to prioritize, I guess, manually over here what you want on and what you want off. And you would do that through priority. So I could change that to priority. Once you've changed the priority 2, it'll shut down that thing. All right. It'll shut down whatever you want to shut down to priority 2. Did you buy your Cobra yet, Evil Melon? Yeah, and that's just a juggling act. I mean, that's one of those things you just have to get good at. I used to be really good at switching modules on and off, because when I was in this ship, I can't remember what it was that I had that would shut me into off mode. I had like a couple things on here, and it might have been the weapon systems or something. But I was going over in my power usage, so I had a couple things that I would set to priority 2. And then once I got into a situation where I needed to use that thing, I had a kind of a schedule on stuff that I would shut down in order to get those modules working again. If that makes any sense. It's a little confusing at first, but once you kind of get used to messing around with the module power, where you're diverting, where you are diverting stuff around to your power to your different modules, it gets to be kind of second nature. It's funny because I used a lot of that stuff when I was doing black, and I always go back to when I was running black market stuff. You learn your ship and all your ship functions really quickly when you do black market running, because you want to be able to dodge like sensor scans and stuff like that. And now the only way of doing that is to be able to, go into silent running and to launch your heat sink. And, that takes really kind of juggling around all the systems in your ship, or being able to juggle around the systems in your ship to kind of literally go into like stealth mode, which you can do. I don't know if there are many people that do black market running anymore. It's a shame, because more people, they don't make it more profitable, because it's really fun. It's super fun. You learn how to fly through the mail slot really quickly. Like, I literally had it down to where I could boost at my highest speed into the mail slot and make a landing within like 5 seconds. But you need to know how to do all that stuff if you're running black market stuff. What you're trying to do is you're trying to avoid getting scanned. That's why the Cobra was so good at it. It was so good at making it through the mail slot, because it's flat. The ship is really, really flat. So it makes it through the mail slot like no problem. You just have to line up with the rotation of whatever it is that you're landing with, and then just hit the boost button and boost as fast as you can into the station before they can perform the scan and get underneath and get rid of your goods before they scan you. But if I was setting up a Cobra for mining, I would almost get rid of all the weaponry to in the place for mining equipment. Get your ship as fast as possible, because you're not going to have any way of defending yourself. Maybe upgrade your shields to an A shield. But I know of guys that will run and do no shields, and that's how some people will do it. They'll do no shields whatsoever, and do mining, which I find is crazy. because you need the shields to go through the asteroid field. If you run into something, then you're going to be taking, you know, immediate hits to your armor. But I guess that makes you, it really helps you out if you're having problems trying to, you know, maneuver your ship. It'll really teach you really quickly how to maneuver your ship. You know, a lot of people will say, don't, you know, dump your shields for mining just to make room for, you know, other cargo racks. But if you're starting out, I wouldn't suggest it. I would definitely maybe, you know, reduce the shield generator down to a 3. But I wouldn't completely dump them. Go to like a 3C or a 3B or something like that. But I would turn that 4E spot into a cargo hold. And then, like I said, dump Super Cruise Assist, dump Advanced Docking Computer. Don't need either one of those things. Power plant, I would go. You're probably just going to be able to start off with a power plant that the ship comes with. Thruster, same thing. Frame shift drive, same thing. I'm maybe not even mess with any of that stuff right now, because that's still better than what you're starting off with. If it be a Viper or an Adder, I think the Viper has a better frame shift drive. But once you upgrade the 4E to like a 4B or a 4C, you know, all bets are off. 3E life support, I would keep that. Power distributor 3E, I would keep that. 3E sensors, I'd keep that. Until you had money to upgrade all that stuff, I would keep all of that. They don't have anything else here. Yeah, and just work the Cobra until you can't work the Cobra, until you can afford an ASP Explorer or something. That would be my second ship, would be an ASP Explorer. Or an ASP in general. One of the ASPs. One of the ASPs is better than the other ASP. I can't remember which one it is. But that would be the second ship I would get into as an ASP. Or the second ship would be an ASP. I mean, you could get into Type 6 if you wanted to. It's like a flying brick, but, I mean, a lot of people will do this. It's got 0 hard points. You would literally only be carrying enough hard points to do mining. It's got a ton of space, though. It's got a lot of space. This, I think, is a ship that people would definitely dump the shield generator for. Which you could probably dump the Super Cruise Assist and put a 1E shield generator, just enough to get you out of trouble. But then I would make the ship as fast as possible so you can get out of there as fast as you can. I would definitely go to like military grade alloy with this thing, or at least a 1B or something like that. But this is a flying brick. I don't know if I would recommend the old Type 6 transporter very as a great ship to be playing your like mid game with. I would honestly just go straight to an ASP at that point. Go from a Cobra to an ASP, up to a Python, then up to an Anaconda if you can. And then everything else, you know, and that's just speaking in terms of mining. Or even trading, for that matter. You know, if you want to just trade on the markets and not have to spend the money doing mining, then that's the way I would go. I think that's the way most people go. Is they go from Sidewinder to Cobra to ASP to Python to Anaconda. Seems to be the path that most people take. But it's, you know, it's an open game. You can do whatever you want. You know, I know people that have been able to make it with the Adder, which is surprising, but sure. You know, if you can do it, then you can do it. No one's telling you otherwise. It really, you know, it all depends on what type of player you are. let's go ahead and go back out to mine. You know, it really depends on what your playstyle is like. You know, I tend to steer clear of trouble. I don't really go looking for trouble.
Ship released. Clear for departure.
But then again, that is the black trader market for trader in me, or black market trader in me, is that I try to avoid whatever I can, because you spend a lot of your time trying to avoid what you can. Oh, get through there. Ooh, that hurt.
Scan detected.
Let's go into the flight mode. Oh, good. You bought a Cobra? Good. Welcome to the real world, my friends. Let's go back. Welcome to the world of the Cobra. Now you can really start playing the game. Now you've got a really, really good ship that is able to do a lot of things without too much of a trouble.
Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, I would definitely, you know, pare it down as much as you can. Mask locked to what? Station? And I'll let's go and do some deep core mining.
Frameshift drive charging.
Let me show you what you need for deep core mining, which is going to probably yield you the most money at this point. I would honestly dump the lasers, the whole laser mining thing, for deep core mining. What you're going to need for deep core mining is the same exact thing you're going to need for laser mining, except for the lasers and the lasers, basically. What that's going to allow you for the Cobra is, because you got 4 hard points on that thing, is a seismic launcher and abrasion blaster. And those are the 2 things that you're going to want for... And I swear, with that Cobra, you're going to start making a bunch of money if you do deep core mining. If you can afford to put a fuel scoop on your ship, then do it, because it'll save you. That's another thing you might want to consider getting for mining, is a fuel scoop. Because what a fuel scoop will allow you to do is obviously to, you know, pull fuel from wherever. What you're going to need if you're going to try to go to systems that are further than where your ship can go. You don't want to, you know, be fueling. You definitely don't want to be fueling up at every port with your ship, because that just introduces more chances for you to get interdicted. But all you need for deep core mining are all the sensors that you already have for laser mining. But then you're going to want to get a seismic charge launcher and an abrasion blaster. And we're going to do the same thing that we did.
Fuel scooping complete.
Scanners will be under hard point or utility points. Where's my bookmarked? Where's my bookmarked planet here? There you go. There you are, my friend. We like this planet. This planet has lots of stuff. Yeah, the scanners will be under utility hardpoints or utility mounts or whatever the hell they call it. I like this planet. This planet's become my new favorite planet to mine at because this system is an uninhabited system. I haven't noticed too much pirate activity out here. No, that means that the station that you're at probably only has those two things. You're gonna have to find a station, use that website that I gave you, the EDDB, to find a station that's close to you. Here, let me find one. This game is a lot of jumping around trying to find stuff, so you're gonna have to get used to that. What system are you at? Yeah, I would suggest, booting up that EDDB, delete data, this one. Here, I'll show you. You're gonna wanna boot this website up and try to figure out. Once again, the reference system is where you're at, and then station sells modules. You're gonna want to search that for whatever modules you want to get. Right, which is the detailed surface scanner is what you're looking for, and you're also looking for a pulse wave analyzer. Okay, hold on for a second. I just read your comment. Give me a second. Okay, so you can't find the systems. All right, so go down to Galaxy Map, right? And then you're gonna want to. Good Lord. Stop doing that. You want to go up to these tabs up here. Go to these tabs up here. You see this? I'm in my Galaxy Map right now. Now, you're going to want to look at whatever is closest to you, and you're going to want to type it into the search bar here. So say I am looking for. Here, let me walk you through this. So, just watch here for a second. Desktop here. Say I am looking for. Let's look for what you're looking for. Say I am looking for pulse wave analyzer, right? Pulse wave analyzer. And my reference system is Matet. Even though I'm not in Matet right now. Go to Find Stations. And Ehekettle, right? Once again, is the station that you're going to want to go to. Apparently, Hackworth Orbital and Ehekettle has one. They're only 7.3 light years from you. This price was updated 4 hours ago. I don't even see what the price is. And then, you know, this will tell you what pad size they have, which you don't have to worry about yet, the allegiance and all the other stuff. Anyways, what we're looking for here is Ehekettle, right? So, we then now go into... And you go into the galaxy map. You bring your tab up here up top. See that? I'm moving it around with my left L1 and R1 buttons. And you want to go into the search bar and type in Ehekettle. Done. And it shows me exactly where I need to go. Once I'm here, you want to select this and then plot a route. So I'm going to select it and then plot a route. And then that will tell you, that will get you to where you need to go. That's Spaceball 1. I'm actually, you're close to me too, Psycho Mike, then, because I passed Spaceball 1 not too long ago. I passed Spaceballs 1 yesterday, I think. I think it was in that system. There might be more than one. I'm sure there are more than one Spaceball 1s out there. I would think that there were more than one Spaceball 1 out there. That's funny. Did you figure it out, Evil Melon? That's hilarious. That's funny. Have you figured it out, Eva Melon? Did that help? Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, so now getting back into deep core mining. So one of the honey spots, I mean, I could honestly go to all of these spots, but what I'm kind of looking for when I mine is this. I'm looking for, see this Muscovite hotspot? How these two are connected? I'm kind of looking more for that. I mean, I could go to any of these little hotspots, and they'll yield something, right? I'll definitely probably have luck in all of those. But I'm going to have the most luck. If there's a planet that has one of these with an overlapping hotspot, then I'm definitely going to that first, because that's going to be probably the greatest chances, and it's the largest amount of area, obviously, to find stuff, you know, find minerals in there. So I'm going to fly right to that. And what I usually do is I fly to the outermost edge of it. Maybe a little bit further. Maybe where the yellow starts is where I kind of fly. Because that's going to be obviously the hottest spot of the hot spot. I don't want to go toward the center. Because I've noticed that if I go toward the center, my chances of finding, and this sounds backwards, but my chances of finding stuff kind of go lower. It's weird. So I'll go right to where this orange and yellow are kind of meeting up here. You generally want to do this while your cargo hold is empty in a smaller ship. I'm in an Anaconda, so I'm not really too worried about it. Because what's going to happen once I get into this mining spot is I will get scanned by a pirate normally, is what happens 99.9% of the time. I've noticed in this system it's weird because I don't get scanned. I find very odd, but I think it's probably because this system is a relatively untraveled system. Muscovite right now is trading for pretty dang high. And I've got a lot of it. So I get in here. I will probably get scanned, so I'm going to go ahead and go into combat mode already. Just trying to be ready for anyone that scans me, because I'm going to blow them out of the sky. But this is what I love about the system. I come in right now, usually by now I would have been scanned and threatened by a pirate, but no one. There's not a single soul in here. Okay. Alright, we'll get out of combat mode. We'll go ahead and start scanning. Go back to analysis mode. We'll go to our point that has the pulse wave on it and start pulse waving. We'll go ahead and put on the night vision. Oh, and then once you come in here, what you want to do is you want to highlight whatever the hotspot is. If you did what I'm doing, you want to highlight where the hotspot is that you're going after, so you know to go in that direction. Right? I know there are two Muscovite hotspots here, and that's one of them. And I want to be going in that direction, because if I go in any other direction, then I'm going away from the hotspot. And I'm going to make sure that I'm always going toward that hotspot. And you can then, at that point, just pulse wave away. And what I like about the Anaconda is I can fly like this with the nose down, generally. It's got such a good visibility around the cockpit that I can, if I can manage to keep my nose down, I can look around without having to go into the third-person camera mode, which everyone's like, oh, go into third-person camera mode. I hate the third-person camera mode. I only like it for taking thumbnails, but otherwise it's kind of useless to me. Oh, there we go. There we go. Let's get back into combat mode. Let's switch over to the guns, and let's see what we're dealing with here. Oh, you want $1 million, huh? You want to me?
Warning, incoming hatchway connected.
Cargo theft in progress. Well, guess what, dude? You're not gonna survive. Oh man, you messed up my cargo hatch. Now I gotta go back. Bye-bye, Eagle. Or Clipper. Now I gotta go back to the starport and get that repaired. Oh, you know what? Let's throw some power to the weapons.
Under attack.
Someone's gonna lose your shields. Oh, that must hurt. That must hurt a lot. You don't say. You're not gonna survive this, buddy. As I watch me tear through your hull. You're still demanding money, which I find amazing. Did you jump out? Oh, you better not. I want to destroy you. You can run, but you can't hide. You can run, but you can't hide. I will chase you down. Let's target his frameshift drive. Oh, you coward. Is my cargo hatch now destroyed? Can I not deploy my cargo hatch anymore? You bastard. You bastard. Is my cargo scoop?
Cargo scoop deployed.
Well, what's damaged? There's nothing damaged.
Retracted.
Okay, good. We don't have to fix anything. Good. I really wanted to blow him up, though. I could probably... Let's go... Wait a minute. Did he take stuff from my cargo bay? Or is that whatever that guy's mining? It's not my muscovite. Alright, well, let's open the cargo scoop.
Cargo scoop deployed.
And let's deploy some limpets to go get that stuff. Can I not get it? Give me my stuff back, dude. Come on, collector limpet. We're not in range. I thought you had a 7-kilometer range. Go get my stuff. Oh, wait a minute. Are my limpets not working now?
Cannot comply. Cargo scoop retracted.
Let's go collect our stuff. No, wait, how much do I have out here? So just one thing of... Yeah, forget it. It's one thing of benatite. Benowite, whatever the hell, however you pronounce that. That stuff isn't... I actually didn't even want to prospect that stuff. I just felt bad leaving that meteor behind. Or that asteroid behind. Oh, there's muscovite. Yeah, we're gonna need to collect that. We don't want to lose any of the muscovite. That's good stuff. That should be plenty enough range for them collector limpets to get. Prospector limpet, collector limpet, opening cargo hold.
Programming limpet drone.
Go get our stuff. I guess that hatch breaking limpet works.
Collector limpet expired.
What? Did you not see that over there? What is that a canister of? Oh, it's just a limpet. Who cares about that? What's this? Another canister. What was that? Go get that.
Programming limpet drone.
I didn't even get the gratification of blowing that dude out of the sky. I should go chase him, honestly.
Collector limpet expired.
What are you? That's just a limpet. What are you? It's another limpet.
Cargo
Alright.
scoop retracted.
Let's go deep core mine. No one messes with the Sigourney Weaver. Oh, the Cobra. I have so many fond memories of that ship. What are you? That's probably nothing I want.
Target destroyed.
There's probably nothing I want. Yeah, you're not making enough noise. Or maybe you are. It's too far away to see it right now. You're making some sort of noise. don't think this is going to yield anything. We're not going to launch limpet into it. Not until we're sure. I see some mineral deposits on it. I don't see any crevasses in it, though. Or any ship lights. I don't see any fissures in it. That's what you're looking for when you do deep core mining, is you want to make sure that it is fissured. So if it has fissures on it, then you can blow it open, but this one doesn't have any fissures on it. When you're pulse mining or deep core mining, you're looking for a specific type of asteroid. And this is what takes the time with deep core mining. If you plan to do deep core mining, I would suggest being very patient. Coffee helps. I'm in Los Angeles, so I can say this. Marijuana helps a lot. Because you're going to be spending a lot of time doing this. Maybe a beer if you drink. I don't drink. A whiskey, maybe. Bag of Doritos. Something else. You know what a lot of times I do when I'm not streaming now? Because I'll do this when I'm not streaming. I honestly got my cargo hold to where it is because I did some more mining last night off stream. But I'll just put out something on YouTube on and just watch that while I do this. I watched a movie. I watched some movie on Netflix last night while I was mining. Some movie with Anthony, what's his name? The guy that plays the Falcon on Avengers. This movie, he played a android soldier, which was really interesting. Wasn't a bad movie, but it was a Netflix exclusive. Yeah, Anthony McKee. Anthony McKee was in it. It's that movie. It's a Netflix movie. It just came out. I watched that and Catch Me If You Can, which is one of my favorite movies. I just like the whole idea of Catch Me If You Can. I think that's... The dude was a genius. A genius criminal. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, but it's a really good movie. Probably one of my more favorite recent Tom Hanks movies. I don't know if I've seen a bad Tom Hanks movie up to this point. There are ones that I like better than others. But I think most of his movies are pretty alright. Charlie Wilson's War, I think, is one of my more favorite Tom Hanks movies. It's a really interesting topic and an interesting movie. Showing now for free if you have Amazon Prime. It's all about the Cold War and our involvement with Afghanistan in the early 80s when Russia was trying to make it a communist state. It's a really interesting movie. A real interesting period of time with our involvement with Afghanistan back in the day, where we were trying to kind of help the insurgents fight off the red wall that was encroaching on to that area. It's funny, a lot of movies from the 80s were about that had Afghanistan involved. It's interesting. If you ever watch any of the Rambo movies, they talk about the Taliban. It's very, very interesting. where that's when back when the Taliban were our allies. I think it's Rambo First Blood Part 2. Is that the one that took place in Afghanistan? He's actually fighting with the Taliban rebels in that movie. It's interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah, but I'll watch movies while I do this. You know? Oh yeah, what's your bad news and your good news, Rilu? Franbo. Watch it again. I don't know how old you were when you first saw it, but when you watch it, it's funny because movies that you watched as a kid, you don't pick up on that stuff until you get older, and you're like, oh wow, I didn't even realize that. You know, it's kind of like when you're watching old Looney Tunes cartoons. You're like, oh my gosh, I totally missed that. How did I miss that? Yeah, I haven't seen Frambo 2 in a long, long time. It's been a while. It's been quite some time. But I remember the last time I watched it was right after 9/11. I was like, oh my god, really? Yeah. Well, Frambo is one of those movies that you definitely would have watched then, at that point. I know I did. I loved Rambo. I was really big into Sly Stone back in the day. Like Sly Stone movies. I was really a huge Rocky fan. I was like Rocky 3 or Rocky 2 when that came out, when that movie came out. Yeah, you should go watch them as a refresher. I mean, I stopped at Rambo First Blood Part 2. Maybe, no, I saw Rambo 3. I saw Rambo 3. I just can't remember what it's about. Rambo 3 is about when I started getting way into like Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. Over the top, yeah! I remember Over the Top. It's like a switch. You put your finger over the thumb, and it's like a switch. It just turns on. I remember I would always do that after I watched that movie. I would do that every time I would arm wrestle. Be like, man, Sly Stallone's right. When you put your fingers over that thumb, you get that extra power. It's like a switch. Which I'm not sure if that's legal in arm wrestling rules. I'm not sure if you're allowed to do that in arm wrestling. It's like a switch. Oh man, I love that movie. Over the Top. That's so funny. Nah, that was like 85, maybe. Over the Top was that was like 85 or 84. God, I love the Rocky. I still love the Rocky movies. Rocco. I still cry every time I see Apollo Creed die at the hands of Ivan Drago. I still get a little tear to my eye. That was a movie that made Eye of the Tiger popular. Was that 3 or 2? That was 3. Because 4 was Mr. T, I think, right? Is that 4 or is that 3? Oh no, 3 is Mr. T. 4 is the one he goes against Ivan Drago, right? Isn't that how it goes? Yeah, 3 is Mr. T. Drago's like, yeah. Yo, Rocco! Yeah, you can't mess with Apollo Creed that way, man. Don't mess with Apollo Creed. Yeah, Tommy Gunn was Rocky 5. I didn't quite like that one. I mean, that one was alright. It just didn't have the spirit of the other ones. But you do have to give Sylvester Stallone credit. He acted and directed in those movies, you know? And he wrote them, I think. So I don't think many people really realize that Sly Stallone did all of those movies pretty much, you know, acted, directed, and wrote those movies. That's pretty in the grand scheme of things, as someone who works or has or worked in the film industry, being able to do all of that at one time is pretty dang impressive. I worked on Argo, which is a Ben Affleck movie. He directed it and acted in it, and it was tough enough for him to do both of those at the same time. So having to have written the movie and directed it and acted in it is pretty tough. That's a big workload. And he produced the movies. Oh yeah, the Creed movies are good. The first Creed was good. I haven't seen 2, but the first one was really good. And I believe Creed was written. Creed may have been written by Sly Stallone as well. And I'm not sure if he directed that one. That's like Sly Stallone's franchise, man. Yeah, I don't think people give him credit for that. You know, they always think he's just a big dumb Italian, but you know, to do all of that work it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. You know, I was just a sound guy, but I know how much work goes into all of that stuff, and it's a ton. So next time you think you're gonna make fun of Sly Stallone, cut my boy some slack. Cut Sly some slack. Sly is actually a pretty talented guy. He might not seem like it, but he's a pretty talented dude. Yeah, I haven't seen Creed 2 yet. I want to check that out. I would imagine it's pretty alright. I'll tell you what sequel I'm waiting for still is damn Top Gun 2, man. I cannot wait till that movie comes out. Dude, I cannot wait. My whole year was wrecked not only by COVID, but the fact that Top Gun 2 didn't come out. I was really, really bummed about that. I've been looking forward to that movie for ages now. At least 2... When did I find out? I found out it was being announced. It had been announced 5 years ago, actually. That movie's had a really, really hard development period because it was supposed to be originally directed by what's his name, Scott? The other Scott, not Ridley Scott, but his brother. But once they announced it, I think 2 weeks later, he jumped off a bridge, committed suicide. So that put the project all on the back burner, which is really sad. Really, really sad. Really tragic, man. But Top Gun 2 is going to be an amazing, amazing feat of filmmaking. And I'm not saying that, like, what's it called? Ironically. Or not ironically, what's the other word I'm saying? It's going to be an amazing feat of filmmaking because it's one of the first movies that they're going to go back to, like, shoot. They shot everything and did very little CG in that movie. They fit somehow 5 IMAX cameras into the back seat of a Hornet. I don't know how much you guys know about fighter craft, but the Hornet is not a big plane. But they somehow shoehorned 5 IMAX cameras into the back seat so that when they filmed all of the in-cockpit stuff, that's actually They're actually in a plane doing the maneuvers that they're doing. Obviously, there's a pilot flying for them, you know, in the front seat. But they're actually experiencing all the G-forces and stuff from the maneuvers, which is really, really impressive. And the shots the stuff that I've seen from it looks just amazing. Here's a little. You're a fan of movie making. I'm a fan of back in the days when they didn't use a lot of CG. People don't give the Fast and Furious enough credit for what they do, but what they pull off in that movie as far as like actually shooting stuff and not having to do CG. I think it was, which Fast and Furious was the one in Brazil? Whatever one that was. The filmmaker demanded that they do almost little to no CG in that movie. And they did. They did all of that vault chase craziness that they do in the streets of Brazil. They did that all. They shot all that. They didn't CG any of it. Most of that's not CG, which is amazing. Okay, getting back to deep core mining. This is the type of asteroid that I'm looking for. See these fissures here? It's got these cracks on it, and you'll see it in. Yeah. That's all practical, which is what we call, when you don't use CG, it's called practical stunts and practical effects. They did a lot of that practical. The director demanded that everything be practical in that movie, and he got his, because that's funny. Oddly enough, Universal's most money-making franchise is the Fast and Furious franchise. They've made so much money off the franchise, so when the director requested that everything be shot practical, he got the request. Yeah, that's what they attacked me with, the hatchbreaker limpets. That's the thing, is that since, like, I think Tokyo Drift was the last one that they did CG in. After that, they pretty much do all practical balls to the wall effects. I think, you know, obviously the C-130 chase in that one where, oh, I don't want to give it away, but there is a chase where they do a chase down the runway. You know, I think there was a component of that was CG, but the majority of it was shot, you know, it was actually shot. So this is like the asteroid I'm looking for. This has got these cracks on it, and then when I scan it, it does this. Oh, no. I can still scan it, though. This is going to be a musket. Oh, serendipity. So when I scan this, and this is the signature you're looking for, too, off of something. Oh, it's not. Oh, it's not going to do it now that I've got Prospector Unlimited. It's not going to do it now that I've got a Prospector Unlimited into it. These asteroids that you can deep core mine will come back as a different scan. Let's see if it'll do it from further away. No. But what will happen is that you'll see it'll be brighter than all the asteroids around it. Way brighter. And then as you get closer to it, you'll see a black and greenish black grid shows up. And those are the asteroids that you want to deep core mine. Right? This one, it has a serendipite core in it, and which is pretty decent. I mean, that's a decent enough. I've got serendipite, I think, inside of my. Oh, I don't. This is, I think, was trading at like $700,000. If I launch and crack this thing open, well enough, it should yield 9 to 13 to 16 pieces of serendipite. So once I have it, the Prospector limpet in there, and it tells me where everything is on this. What you're looking for now to work on are these fissures, which are these little V. See these little V's around here? I'm going to launch seismic charges into these little V's here. So I bring my ship into 0 speed. I arm my seismic charge launcher. This is a high strength one, so I want to charge this one up high.
Detonation
Alright.
sequence initiated.
And what I do is I try to fly opposite of how the thing is turning, because that way my targets will just come up to me. This is average strength, so I want to do medium. This is going to be, it's a high strength. I could do another medium into that one. But what I'm really looking for is a low. Now I need to really find a low strength fissure. And what I'm looking also is that bar thing that looks like an equalizer here on the right side. I'm looking to get all of those little dots into the blue. I'm going to take one more low. Let's see if this is a low. And you can do a mixture of two. This is an average. I could probably put a low charge in there. There we go. See how all of those are now flashing in the blue? It says optimum yield range as well. You want to be really careful about how you lay down your mines for the seismic charge. You're going to get it wrong. You're going to get it wrong probably 2 or 3 times. Trust me, I still get it wrong, and I've been doing this forever. So now I'm going to open my cargo scoop.
Cargo scoop deployed.
I'm going to go to my contacts. I'm going to go find one of these charges to detonate.
In 10 seconds.
Make sure you're about 1,000 kilometers away from the asteroid once it blows. We're going to go ahead and switch over to Collector Limpet and the Abrasion Blaster. What type of mining do you want to do, Melon? Do you want to do this pulse? Do you want to do deep core mining, or do you want to do laser mining? If you want to do laser mining, you're going to need a laser and possibly the missile launcher. If you want to do deep core, you're going to need an abrasion blaster. You're going to need a seismic launcher, a collector limpet, and you're going to need
Limpet drone.
prospector limpet, pulse wave analyzer, detailed surface scanner. Detailed surface scanner and the pulse wave analyzer should take up they're two one slot optional modules. The abrasion blaster should be a 1-slot weapons hardpoint. The seismic charger I think is a 2-slot weapons hardpoint. And I think that's it, right? You're going to definitely need the pulse wave analyzer for both types of mining, because you want to make sure that you're not just blowing into mines that don't have anything. You know, I would also suggest getting a prospector, the prospector limpet, so you know what type of asteroid you're getting into. You don't necessarily need the prospector limpet. It just makes it a lot easier. I mean, otherwise, you're going to just have to fly around doing the pulse wave. And just look for the... Here, I'll show you. You're going to have to look for the asteroids that have a heat bloom to them. And you're going to have to find the minerals that are stuck to them in order to start mining off of them. The prospector limpet, like I said, comes in handy to identify what exactly it is that you're mining. Right? So it's not necessary, but it's something that you're probably going to want anyway. If you're going to plan to make money mining in this game, you're going to probably want to have the prospector limpet regardless. And then you just sit back, drink your coffee, and wait for your collector limpets to do their job. Easy as pie. Cake. Speaking of which, I need to refill my coffee. Yeah, like I said, the Fast and Furious movies might not be any kind of tour de force, but as far as filmmaking is concerned,
Limpet drone.
they're pretty amazing feats in modern day filmmaking when everyone wants to make everything with CG. You guys are gonna get a big surprise when you see the new avatars. You know how long them avatars have been shooting for? They've been shooting now for almost 8 years. The new avatars. It's got to be 8 or 9 years. I can't believe that movie's still getting funding, but it's James Cameron. Someone's funding it. What else do they have at that station, Melon? Do they have anything else that you need? So you want pulse wave analyzer, detailed surface scanner would be the next thing I would be looking for. If you're in that category right now, that should be in with scanners, the detailed surface scanner, which is a utility mount. And like I said, all of the mining lasers and equipment will be in with all the weapons. And if you want to do deep core, you're going to need to have the seismic blaster and or the seismic launcher and the abrasion blaster. And then limpet wise, you're going to, like I said, you can do without the prospector limpet for now. You just have to look for, if you have the pulse wave analyzer, you're going to have to look for the asteroids that will glow, and then you're going to want to find visually the mineral deposits that are on them. Oh, really? Well, what else do they have there that you can get? Do they? Let me. First off, what type of mining are you planning to do? Are you going to do laser mining, or are you going to do deep core mining, which is what I'm doing right now? Deep core mining. Okay, so you want to do deep core. Okay. So, look in the weapons category, all your hard points, and see if they have an abrasion blaster or a seismic charge launcher. Do they have either one of those? And if they don't, that's gonna be something that you're gonna need. It's totally necessary to have both of those. Yes. Yeah, that's not good. Don't get that. You don't need that. You own the abrasion blaster. Okay. Make sure to put that in one of your small hard points. That's gonna take a spot in one of your single hard points. I actually worked with I just worked with what's his name? Oh, good lord. Holy smokes. Scotty in Star Trek, the new Star Trek's British guy. He was in, oh my god. I feel so bad. I've actually got a rap gift sitting right here looking at me from him. Yeah, you're gonna need the seismic charge launcher. Just stay away from the subsurface displacement. You don't need that. As far as you have your prospector limpets, no, not Carl Urban, because he played McCoy. Shaun of the Dead. He was Shaun in Shaun of the Dead. What's his name? Good lord. Oh man, I feel terrible now. He was the nicest guy. Okay, so this is another... Also note the shape. This is the shape of the asteroid that you're going to be kind of going after. It's kind of the potato shape. There are a couple different shapes, actually. Simon Pegg. Yes, Simon Pegg. Super nice dude. Very, very nice guy. He gave me a cool rap gift for the last movie that I worked with him on. This is the kind of the shape that you're... There are a couple different shapes of asteroid that you're going after. This is one of them, I think, if this ends up being right. Do you see how this thing is kind of shifting in colors? And it's doing that black thing. Yeah, Carl Urban's a cool guy. I need to watch season 2 of The Boys. That's on my list. I need to check that out. But this one does not look like it's going to yield anything. Yeah, that's a bust. It was kind of doing all the right things, but not quite. Shut the
Cargo tube retracted.
So do they not have the seismic launcher, Evil Melon? I guess they don't. How about, what lipids do you have? Do you have the Prospector and the Collector? You're gonna need both of those. You're also going to have to decide whether or not you want to go with weapons or not. Because you can fly the Cobra without weapons. You just need to be able to skedaddle as soon as possible. And try not to be interdicted. Oh, okay. You should be able to trade out, which kind of sucks because it leaves you with one small hard point, two small hard points, right? A 1 slot and a 2 slot hard point, I think. From what I remember with the Cobra. Which means you can only carry like a pulse blaster and a multi-cannon. Gimbaled if possible, unless you're really good at targeting stuff. You know, and that's when you're gonna have to start asking yourself questions like whether or not you think you're capable enough of getting away from pirates because you will have problems with pirates. So you want to make sure that your ship is either fast or it can defend itself, or the both. Yeah, you have a 2-point, right? Seismic blaster is a 2-point piece of equipment, so you'll have one of those up top. Check this one.
Collector limpet expired.
Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, I had a good time working with Simon Pegg. Real funny guy. We spent a lot of time talking about Star Trek, though. funny that like he's been in so many movies, but the only thing we really talked about when I was hanging out with him was Star Trek. I actually had him, since I build models, I had him sign. I have a local hobby shop that I go to, and they had a bunch of, you know, the first Star Trek, I liked it enough. You know, I watched it as a kid, so, but I was way more into the Next Generation as well. Next Generation, honestly, I was more into Deep Space Nine than anything else. And Voyager was actually really good. No one gives Voyager enough credit for being a good series, but it was a good series. We were actually talking about the new Star Treks, and I had a lot of questions for him about the newer Star Treks, because I've worked with J.J. Abrams as well, so I've done quite a bit of work for J.J. actually. Yeah, you know, you're not missing much after that. I mean, Voyager was alright. I liked Voyager enough to watch it, you know, but you know, if I had two Star Trek series that I would watch, it would be The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. Okay, so this was making all the right noises, but it doesn't look like. I don't see any fissures on it, so it's time to move on. See, and what you're looking for are these bright asteroids like this. Like, you want to pay particular attention to the ones that are super bright yellow. If it starts shifting into green and black, then I know that it's an asteroid that I want to crack open. Yep, there you go. See how it does that? I'll do it again. Yep, that's definitely an asteroid that I want to, yeah, I like Captain Picard, man. And yeah, I can already see the fissures. See the fissures? See those cracks right there? To the left and the right? That's exactly. Just going off of that, just going off the scan, I knew that this was going to be, you know, if it's bright yellow and it does that shift from green to black, I'll show you it again. This is probably a serendipite asteroid. I'm also taking note of the shape. Right, it's gonna do this weird shifting. Let's see if it'll do it again. Like that. If an asteroid starts doing that on you, that's gonna be the one that you kind of want to crack open, that you want to investigate even further. Yeah, you know, I haven't watched any of that. You guys are gonna be waiting for a lot of new shows here for a while, because we've honestly been on lockdown, so there's nothing being made. You're not going to miss it this year, but next year is definitely going to be a big empty spot. Next year, for the next 2 years, it's going to be a huge empty spot in TV and movies. Okay, so I'm going to launch a prospector limit. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to get delayed. Ooh, and it's muscovite. Let's open our cargo hold. Let's go throw the seismic charge on. Let's see what type of fissure you are. You're an average strength one, so we'll charge you averagely. Oh, I just put a low one. That's alright. That's okay. We can always fix that. Once again, I'm looking to get that little equalizer thing up into kind of the into the blue area. Go ahead and do the high strength one into there. That might even out the mess up that we did with that one. This muscovite also trades really, really high in the market right now. Average strength. We'll give it an average launch. Oh, we bounced off. Medium. funny because Cobra Kai started off as kind of a joke, but it's actually turned into something. I honestly don't watch a whole heck of a lot of TV. I don't even have TV. I just have internet. So as far as TV is concerned, I don't watch any of it really. I only watch really now YouTube and certain things on Netflix and Amazon Prime. But I don't really watch too much TV.
Detonation.
Like I never watched any of the Games of Thrones or any of that stuff. Pay dirt. 11 resources. If you see these things right, you should be getting about 11 to 13 to anywhere between 9 and 13 is what you're looking for as far as yield is concerned of what these deep core asteroids will put out. It'll tell you how many resources were freed once you blow it up. Yeah, I don't really watch too much new TV. Like I said, I never watched Game of Thrones, you know, or like Entourage or any of that stuff. All the shows that everyone talks about, I've never seen one episode. Even Battlestar Galactica, for that matter, I really didn't get too far into it. I liked the new series, but I only liked maybe 2 or 3 seasons, really. All the rest of the seasons kind of dragged. I like The Boys a lot, though. The Boys is a really good show. That's funny. You're looking for... Tell me what scanners you have right now. You're looking for a detailed surface scanner. Because you already have the pulse wave analyzer. Right? A detailed surface scanner is what you're looking for. And then I will show you how to use everything. I mean, you saw how I scanned the rings and stuff. Oh yeah, I should put.
Programming input drone. Programming input drone.
Some of the big drones out there to. Yeah, it's funny because I work in Hollywood and I don't watch half the stuff that I make. I mean, I've watched the movies that I've made. You know, but I don't really watch anything else. I feel bad because I should be supporting all my friends that work in the industry too, but you know, there's only so much time. That time is spent video gaming. It was funny because when I did the very limited TV I watched, whenever we worked on a TV show, people were like, "Oh, did you watch last night's episode?" I'm like, "No, I work here, man. Why would I want to watch that?" I already know what's happening, man. I got the script 3 weeks ago. Yeah, exactly. That's probably one of the most annoying things of watching movies that I've worked on with me is that I'm like, you know, because I'll say over, like, I was right there when we shot this. You know what happened this day when we shot this? Oh, they had good pancakes that day at Crafty. Those are the things you remember. The caterer, how nice everyone was on set, if Crafty was good, where you were standing during any scene, what you were doing, what you may have been eating, who you were hitting on that during that show, you know, stuff like that. You know, as a sound mixer, I get to see I read the scripts way before anyone else does on set, so because I need to know what I'm dealing with and, you know, what type of equipment to bring and stuff. So, you know, day one I already know how the movie ends. Whenever I get hired on a gig, that I already know how the movie ends. But I'm tired of that industry. I just quit. I'm not doing it anymore. I refuse. Hours are vicious. It's wreaked havoc on my body physically. We've gotten injured so many times doing movie work. You know, we do 14 to 16 hour days, which can be, you know, hell, especially if you're spending it out in 1,000,000-degree heat. You know, they treat us well, but you get pushed really far in that industry, so, you know, there's really, as a technician, there's a real limited amount of time you can spend doing that. It's almost like race car drivers. You know, the race car drivers really have a limited lifespan. There's a position called assistant director. First assistant director, first AD. The lifespan of a first AD, and this is no shit, is like 60 years old. They did like a study on it, and they're like, most first ADs don't last past 60. A lot of them die at like 55, 56. Most of them by heart attack because of stress-related heart attack. And that's like a no-joke stat. Assistant directors do not live for very long because they get the hell beaten out of them. I've met older sound guys in my life, but I think that the older sound mixers definitely had it a lot easier than the younger sound mixers, because now that production companies don't want to spend a whole heck of a lot of money on production, they expect me to do the job of 3 people as a single person. So, you know, I dropped out. I was also honestly kind of tired of making other people's content. That's kind of why I started the YouTube channel, because I wanted to start working on my own stuff, you know. And this is honestly the direction that entertainment's going to go anyway. Entertainment will stop. I give network TV another 10 years to live, if that. I would say maybe 9 years for a network TV to survive. The only thing that's really keeping network TVs alive right now is sports. And sports is already starting to move to the internet, so I know the NBA and the NFL are considering doing subscription services on the internet. So, I mean, in that case, and especially with movies too, like movies are starting to now, especially with COVID, are starting to now see a light of streaming online. And it, you know, they make more money that way, honestly. You don't have to go through a movie theater at that point. Movie theaters won't go away, they'll just become more of an extravagance thing than they are going to be something you need to go to in order to watch a movie. movie theaters have been struggling anyway for the last 20 years, so this whole pandemic may have been the nail in the coffin for movie theaters. As it is now, movie theaters only make money off of concessions. They don't make any money off of the actual off the ticket sales. Ticket revenue goes back into the rental of the movie that they're showing. Because the studios jack that price up so high that the only way that a movie theater will make money is getting butts in the seat to eat popcorn and drink $15 Cokes. That's what pays the employees. Not the actual ticket sales. They'll be lucky if they break even on ticket sales, honestly. That's why I'm kind of against people sneaking snacks into movie theaters. I know it's expensive, but yeah, so you know how it is, right? You know exactly how the pay grade or how the money breaks down. You know? Oh, you're a projectionist, really? Really? You know that's a union-protected job here in Los Angeles. Being a projectionist, you can make big money here in Los Angeles for being a projectionist. That's actually in my local. That's my union's local. Projectionists and sound mixers. Anything that has a play button in this industry gets put into the local that I'm in. Yeah, that's a union thing here. Projectionists rake in some pretty big money. But then again, you better be good at your job. But you understand, you get how the whole thing breaks down, right? I mean, you'll be lucky if a movie theater breaks even off of the movies that they're showing. You know, like I said, they're making money off of concessions. They ain't making money off the reels. That's why I'm surprised when a movie theater will, you know, okay, you know, a crap movie like oh, let me think of a movie that's really bad. Oh, there's so many of them. You know, because that's a big risk. Yeah, dude, concessions is their sole income. That's all that, you know, that's why I always got mad whenever people are like, oh, I'm going to sneak this into the theater. I'm like, why, dude? You're just putting the theater out of business. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. The studios will way overcharge them. You know, I feel bad for movie theater, especially during now. I really feel terrible for all the movie theater owners. You know, not so much the, well, I guess the AMC people and stuff, because I like going to the movie theater. I still like going to the movie theater, you know, for especially really good movies like, you know, there are movies like There Will Be Blood. I had to see in the movie theater. You know, there are other movies like, you know, what's it called? The other Coen brothers movie. The one the Oscar that year that There Will Be Blood was in the movie theater. No Country for Old Men was another movie that I had to see in the movie theater. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm worried. That's why I wanted to see. I would have loved to have seen Top Gun in an IMAX, and I'm hoping. I think that's why they're holding out, is because they know how much of it they shot in IMAX, and it was a big investment for them. So I think that's why they're holding out on streaming it, because they can honestly just stream it if they wanted to and still make their money. But then the whole IMAX experience just goes away. You know, they did a lot of work to shoot what they did in IMAX. So it'd be a shame to release that. That must have been dope. Yeah, that was dope. Did you do the IMAX projections too? That must be tough.
Collector limpet expired.
Yeah, it's a real shame, man. I hate when people are like, "Oh, I'm just gonna sneak all this food in because the movie price theater expensive." And I know it's expensive. I know it's expensive, and it kind of sucks. But it's not the movie theater's fault, man. That's really the only way they're gonna make any kind of money. Oh, your movie theater didn't have an IMAX screen? What company did you work for? Did you work for AMC or, I like the AMCs. Actually, oh, what's the one that I like to go to now? There's one particular movie theater here that does the popcorn perfectly. And that's the only theater I will go to. Because I love movie theater popcorn. If there's one thing that I'm addicted to, it's movie theater popcorn. Oh my god, it's so good. Especially when it's done right. And this one theater does 3 layers, so like I usually get the large just to last me for the whole day. And they do 1 layer and they'll squirt some of that artificial butter crap in the bottom. They'll do a 2nd layer and mix that around, and then the 3rd. They must have trained them how to do it, but it's like the perfect ratio of butter to popcorn. So good. It's the only thing. I don't care if they don't show the movie at that movie theater. I don't go see it. And it's a is it a Regal? I think it's a Regal. A Regal theater. It's so good. It's in the jankiest. It's in the kind of a sketchy part of town, but they've got nice seats and they do popcorn perfectly. It's the only place I will go watch movies in a lot. Well, I'm sure there's another theater. I'm just not willing to. Because if the popcorn's bad, it just makes my whole experience bad. I cannot concentrate on the movie if my popcorn's bad. Oh, okay. Yeah, I like the Regals. The Regals are good. Is it a Regal? I can't remember what the name of the company is now. It's been such a long time since I've been. It's been a year since I've been there, so. God, what was the last movie I saw in the theaters? I can't even remember what the last movie I saw in the theater was. It's been that long.
Okay, I'll remember that.
Google, I was not talking to you. Oh, that must have been a pain. How many reels was that thing? Yeah, that must have been a pain. That's a long movie. How are they doing the reel change now? Do they do that? Because, you know, obviously back in the day they used to use the swirlies. But what do they do now? Is it computer controlled, or how does that work? Oh, how many reels was that movie? That must have been like three or four reels. Eight reels. God. Which version did you guys have? Did you have the 35 or the 70 millimeter version of it? 'Cause I think there's a 70 millimeter version of it. God, 8 reels. That's a lot of reels. 35. Okay. Yeah, there's a 70mm print going around in that movie. Once again, look at, there's a money-making asteroid right there. See all them black lines and how bright that thing is compared to all the other asteroids. That's going to be a moneymaker. Let's see. I'm guessing you're going to be Muscovite. I think by that shape, I think it's a Muscovite asteroid. That's funny. I hope you guys got a refund on that. Yeah, I would imagine heat warped it like crazy, huh? Oh, that must be a pain. That must have been a pain. Yeah, that must have been a pain. I guess this asteroid does not have what it takes to get cracked open. It was acting like it, but it doesn't look like it has what it takes. Am I looking at the right asteroid? Yep. See, and that's the thing, is that when you do this deep core mining, you have to be really selective. Especially if you have limited limpets and limited seismic charges. You don't want to be launching into asteroids that aren't going to yield anything. Really? And then you also have late night screenings that you can do just for you guys, you know, because you're gonna have to watch the movie in order to so you get to see the movie before everyone else does as a projectionist, you know, for the sake of integrity of the film. It's a tough job being a projectionist, because if you know, the movie messes up, it's your fault too. That's a lot of pressure. You know, you are the person making the movies come to life on the screen. So if you mess it up, that's your fault, and it's a lot of pressure. That's why you get the midnight movie experience by yourself. This one's making all the right moves. This looks like... I don't know. It's iffy. That's awesome. That's funny. Oh man, that's lame. So they weren't doing like Halloween or anything. They were doing all the lame. I know what you did last summer. Those aren't really horror movies. Those are like thrillers, but they're not horror movies. Not like The Shining. Or Halloween. Boring. There's no good horror that's PG-13. No, wait, no. Okay, there have been some exceptions. Because Poltergeist was really scary, and that was only PG. That might have been PG-13. No, that was PG. That was PG. That was scary when I watched it as a kid. It still kind of freaks me out. But I like The Exorcist. Definitely was a rated R movie. Especially if you, depending on what cut you saw, it was definitely a very rated R movie. Not interested in any of those. I'm looking for gold asteroids in this field. Yeah, so she's waiting for the tree in the yard to come alive and eat her alive. Oh, what a good movie. I actually saw that movie on the Marine base that I used to live next to in Quantico. People were throwing up left and right after the whole incident where the guy tears his face apart. And the whole maggot steak thing. Which remake are you talking about? For which movie? There haven't been many remakes that I've been that happy with. Oh, did they remake Poltergeist? I never saw that. Oh, that's right, they did. I never saw that movie. Yeah, I never saw that. I had totally forgot about that. This one looks like it's gonna be one. I never saw the new remake Poltergeist. Was that good? Yeah, I remember that movie. Now that you mention it, I totally forgot to see it. Man, I'm gonna have to look that up. It's a good movie, huh? I meant to see it. I totally forgot about it. I totally forgot that it even existed. You know what horror movie remake I enjoyed was the Amityville Horror. That remake that they did was actually, it wasn't too bad. As much as I would like them to redo The Exorcist, it better be done right. The Exorcist is the one that I'm hoping that no one remakes until they have the right people signed on to it. Exorcist 2 was horrible, but Exorcist 3 actually wasn't bad at all. That was actually directed by the guy who wrote the book, which was really surprising. You wouldn't expect that to be a good movie, but it was actually a really good movie. Some of it was kind of... there were some parts of it that I couldn't totally buy. But you know, if the guy that wrote the actual book is directing it and wrote the screenplay, if he says it's okay, then it's okay with me too. Yeah, Exorcist 3, I think that was also on that's on Amazon Prime right now. That's actually worth a watch. It's a really good movie. George C. Scott's in it. Who else is in it? You know why I didn't want to watch the Ghostbuster reboot? Because it was a reboot. I don't care about anything else, though. Any of the other controversy that was around it. It just didn't look good. It just didn't look funny, and it's a shame because that cast was a good cast. I just don't think it was written very well. It doesn't look like it was written very well. And I know everyone had the controversy, like, oh, it's, you know, so whatever, you know. I know there was a whole controversy with it being like, oh, it's all female. I don't care about any of that. I only care whether or not the story is a well-written story, and it didn't seem like it was very well written. Yeah, and the special effects looked terrible for it. All the jokes that I saw looked bad. Yeah, exactly. Alright, Evil Melon, have a good night, my friend. I'll help you tomorrow. I guess I'll play this game again tomorrow. so I can walk you through I can walk you through deep core mining. Yeah, I'm really interested by this new Ghostbusters that's supposed to come out, because there is a new Ghostbusters coming out that is in that universe, is in the universe of the original Ghostbusters. It's about, I don't know if you've seen the previews for it, but it's about, I think it's Egon's granddaughter inherits all of his equipment. Yeah, I'm really excited about that new one. It's a shame because that other Ghostbusters that came out, they had a really talented comedic crew there. They just didn't use it. I mean, it didn't seem like all the jokes that I saw coming from it, I was like, that wasn't really that funny. And then the special effects terrible, you know, and it was just a shame. Just seemed like it was a money grab and they didn't use the resources that... Oh no, we didn't need to do that. The resources that they were using just didn't seem like they were using them the right way, you know? I can't wait till the new Ghostbusters comes out. There are a bunch of other movies that, like Blade Runner 2047, or the new Blade Runner, I wanted to see that, but I never got around to seeing that. There were a couple other remakes that had come out that I haven't checked out yet. The new Dune remake. Yeah, exactly, right. Ghostbusters the video game was actually, for a while there, considered the sequel to Ghostbusters, or Ghostbusters 3 or Ghostbusters 2. That was widely considered as the sequel for a while there. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about the new Dune. I've seen some shots of it. I've seen some trailers for the new Dune. I don't know. I'm going to have to see it. There's a giant slur in there? The Wrath of the Giant Slur! I used to have that whole monologue memorized, and I can't remember. In the form of the huge slur. It's such a funny monologue too. It's super short, but it's super funny. Yeah, I don't know about the new Dune, man. The new Dune. Okay, look, I'm gonna put it this way. I've read Dune, and I've actually read a good part of the. I actually made it through the whole series. Actually, I made it through the whole Dune series, and that's gonna be that's a hard movie to make, a hard book into a movie. You know, we're talking about 1,000 some odd pages worth of literature being adapted into a movie. It's gonna be tough to make a good movie out of that. You know. I don't know why people keep on trying to do it. I know they had that sci-fi miniseries, which is probably a better way to do it. Yeah, exactly. Many Zepps and Zulus know what it means to be roasted in the depths of the slur on that day, I can tell you. Which movie, though, did you watch? Did you watch the David Lynch one? I mean, if you're gonna watch the Dune movies, the Lynch one's good just because it's just hilarious. It's just hilarious. The idea that David Lynch made a sci-fi movie is even more hilarious. Yeah, that's the David Lynch one. Because it's been done about two other times, and not very well. Or maybe one other time. And then Sci-Fi had a TV series, which is probably like a short mini series, which is probably the best way to do it since it's such a big book. But then to that degree, you might as well just read the book, you know. Yeah, that's the one with Sting. Sting was in that one. With his underwear. His winged underwear. And what's his name from Kyle MacLachlan was in it from Twin Peaks. Just the idea that David Lynch did that was just blows my mind. But Dune's a wacky enough book that I think it was probably right up David Lynch's alley. And I think I was right, like post Wild at Heart. I think he had done Wild at Heart before that. So I could see that the studio's just like, oh, well, David Lynch is a hot director. We'll tap him to do Dune. David Lynch is a weird dude, man. Cool guy. Very nice, but he's got some weird ideas. I met David Lynch not too long ago, actually. About 4 years ago. I was doing a documentary on an actor named Harry Dean Stanton. I don't know if you know who Harry Dean Stanton is. I'm sure you've probably seen at least 20 movies with him in it. And that was the thing, is that he's been in about 150 movies. And you probably wouldn't recognize him until I probably told you who he's played in those movies. And then you'll be like, oh yeah, that guy. Harry Dean Stanton was in pretty much every David Lynch movie as some sort of bit character. He was in Alien, the first Alien. He was in Red Dawn. He was in Pretty in Pink. He's been in almost every single movie, man. He's been in so many. He was in the Avengers. I was actually there when he accepted the role as being in the Avengers. He was the guy that asks Mark Ruffalo about falling through the roof with no pants. That was the first Avengers. That's Harry Dean Stanton. He's probably the most notable face in Hollywood, but the most unknown man in Hollywood. He's only been a star actor in one movie, and that was Paris, Texas. Yeah, that guy. The movie was all about him and his life, because he's had a really interesting life. He was in Cool Hand Luke. He's been in literally about 120 movies, but no one really knows who he is. That was the whole idea. Was like, he's kind of this mysterious guy that kind of bit acted his way through Hollywood. But he never really wanted to be a big starring role. He was kind of content with doing smaller parts and just being and working on music. He just passed away not too long ago. 2 or 3 years ago. R.I.P. God rest your soul, Harry. Incredibly interesting guy, though. Probably one of the most interesting characters I've met in Hollywood. Very, very long and storied career. He did many supporting roles, supporting actor roles. He's Patrick Swayze and what's his name's dad in Red Dawn. Avenge me! Molly Ringwald's dad in Pretty in Pink. That was terrible. The Red Dawn remake was awful. It was god awful. It's a shame because Chris Hemsworth is actually a really nice guy, and he probably took it because it was one of his first big roles in Hollywood. Funny thing is that my favorite Chris Hemsworth movie is not the Avengers movie. It's a movie called Cabin in the Woods. If you like horror movies, you should watch Cabin in the Woods. Have you ever seen that movie? Oh, the movie's so good. It is one of the best horror / comedy movies out there. Hemsworth is amazing in it. Yeah, Cabin in the Woods is dope. I got to see the premiere. I got to go to the premiere for that, and everyone was in stitches. What a good movie, man. What a well done movie. The mermans. Death by merman. I don't want to ruin it for anyone that's watching that might watch that movie out there, but it's such a good movie. Yeah, that movie is amazing. Absolutely amazing. I didn't know what to think of it. I remember when I was asked to go with a girl that worked in the art department. She was cute. But she was like, she's like, I want to go to this premiere. It's called Cabin in the Woods. I was like, what? Okay. Sure. Yeah, you know, I've never seen the Evil Dead remake. I want to check that out. Raimi did that. Did Raimi direct that? Sam Raimi? I never saw that. I heard that. I heard that it was a really well done remake. Okay, so he was at least had his hand in he may have not been able to direct it because he may have had a contract with Sony at that point. I think they did that when he was still signed with Sony doing Spider-Man movies. Or maybe he just didn't want to direct it. Yeah, I always wanted to check that out. I just never got around to it. I'll tell you what's a good horror movie. If you're ever looking for a good new horror movie to watch, and this is going to sound ridiculous, you're going to not believe me when I say this, but you know how Parker Brothers made those few like board game movies? They made one for the Ouija board called Ouija. The first one's awful. The first one is absolutely awful. It's atrocious. You do not want to get anywhere near it. They made another one called... I actually own it. They made another one called... Where is it? It's called Ouija, but it's called Ouija Origins of Evil. That movie is amazing. Oh, Ash vs. Evil Dead. I never saw that either. I never saw that either. I need to check that out. Yeah, if you're looking for a good kind of sleeper horror movie, Ouija Origins of Evil. Make sure you're getting Ouija Origins of Evil, because the other Ouija is god-awful. But Origins of Evil is actually a really, really surprisingly well-made movie. It's creepy as hell. Yeah, you have to check it out. It is... I mean, you kind of are getting the gist of the type of movie that I like, and I wouldn't steer you wrong. It's a really, really, really well done. It's one of my favorite horror movies in the last 10 years. It was so well done. And there are little tidbits about it that you like. There are things that you have to watch it another time through just to catch it. But there's some like little tiny things that they do in that movie that are like, it blows my mind that was a movie from a game property. Like it was one part of that Parker Brothers. Like Parker Brothers had wanted to get into the movie business, so they they'd licensed out a bunch of their names, and Ouija was one of them. And like I said, the first one's awful. The first one, don't ever touch it. Don't get anywhere near it. But Origins of Evil, Ouija Origins of Evil is really good. I think if on Rotten Tomatoes, I think it also gets, let me check and see if it got a good Rotten Tomatoes score. And I think that's why I checked it out. I was just like, people were going like, have you seen that Ouija Origins of Evil movie? I'm like, no. That sounds awful. Okay, there it is. It came up. This is one of the first things that... IMDb only give it 3 stars. But I see on Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 4 stars. 82%. Yeah, it's a good movie, man. It's a really, really well done horror movie. Oh, I haven't seen that yet. Oculus, I heard about that movie. I think that's on that's streaming right now, I think. That's on one of my streaming services, I think. I'm going to check that out. Yeah, I was really surprised, man. I was really, really surprised when I saw it. And it was one of those things where I had to see it to believe it. And when I saw it, I was just like, this is a fucking good movie. Excuse my language. I was like, this is a good movie. The little girl that's in that movie, she does such an amazing job. She's honestly what sells the movies, is her performance is so good. I don't know how she even played that part without getting creeped out herself. That would have freaked me out. Doing the stuff that they had to, you know, that she did in the movie. I don't know how. I don't know if she went to the premiere or actually watched it. If I was that little girl, I would have had nightmares after that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check out Oculus. Someone else told me that Oculus was a good movie. I really need to check that out. And I'm hoping I get to into a movie theater at some time this year, man. Yeah, well, you know, honestly, because they've kind of become very formulaic. You know, and it's not... It's... I don't know who to blame. I probably blame the studios on that one. You know, a lot of the good horror movies are being made by independent studios. And you really have to shop them out. You know, but a lot of them are looking for the jump scare, and that's what a lot of people will write into their movies as jump scares. And, you know, as surprising as they are, you know, they just don't, they can't hold a movie together. You know, plot-wise. That's why I was really hesitant about that Ouija movie that I was talking about. Yeah, Blumhouse does it right. They do a good job. I saw a good horror movie not too long ago too, and I can't remember what it was. Probably wasn't that good if I can't remember what it was. I can't wait to get into another theater, man. I really miss going to the movie theater. I really do. I miss the whole getting my Coke and my large Coke and my large popcorn, only eating maybe half of it. Maybe a quarter of it. Wolf Cop. Wolf Cop. I've never heard of that. Is that like Teen Wolf? I think I may have jumped too deep and too far out into this hotspot to get any results. Yeah, we're not getting much luck out here. Let me go deep, jump deeper into this hotspot. See that I'm just looking in all the wrong places right now. Well, yeah, he's a werewolf. I think any part of turning into a lichen is probably pretty vicious. Wolf Cop. So yeah, it's like Teen Wolf. I wonder if they did it. Did they do it CG or did they do it through makeup, through prosthesis? Oh, it was all practical. That's gonna be that's probably pretty impressive then to watch that. Yeah, it's hard to do practical makeup these days. You know, because the audiences are now expecting, you know, CG. But like I said, if you can do it practical, then I think you're you know, I honestly like practical effects better, man. Oh, really? I love The Thing. I actually like the remake of The Thing. Though I haven't seen it in a really long time. It's been a while. I love The Thing. Where can I see The Void? Is The Void on... Are they streaming The Void? Yeah. Well, CGI always takes the fun out of everything. At least in my opinion. You know, what I honestly had started... When I got into this business, what I wanted to really do was to do model making. You know? That's where the model making thing comes in. I had intended to get into this business as a model maker, but, you know, when I got in, you know, they obviously weren't doing that anymore. Actually, when I got into college is when CGI was starting to really take over. Oh, okay. It sounded familiar. It sounded like something I've seen on one of the streaming services. I've been really tempted on I'm subscribing to that one there's a horror streaming service, and I've been tempted by it because it looks like it has some good content on it. I can't remember what the name of the streaming service is, but it's just all horror stuff. Like Blumhouse has a lot of stuff on there, I think. Blumhouse. Yes, Shudder. Have you seen it? Are you a member of Shudder? Is it worth subscribing to? Maybe I should jump out of this part of the ring. So I'm not really getting any kind of good luck here. Oh, you don't have it? I'm really curious by Shudder, man. I'm hoping Shudder's a good service, but it seems like there's some cool stuff on it. At least stuff that I've been kind of curious about. I tend to not think, though, it's a good idea because it's just one type of genre, which, you know, unless they stretch into like sci-fi horror and other types of horror, which it looks like it does, then maybe it's worthwhile. Sci-fi horror is probably one of the genres that is close to my heart. I'm gonna move closer into the center of this hot spot. Yeah, and it seems like a nice variety of content on there. A lot of it's indie stuff, which is the kind of more of the, you know, I think indie horror movies kind of have a better, I don't know, they're just better because they're not being, you know, the rules are being made up by a huge studio. You know, studio influences are really, you know, studio influence has you'd be surprised how much influence, you know, studio will have on like the content of a movie. I did a movie called The Soloist a while back with Robert Downey Jr. It was one of the first movies I worked with Robert Downey Jr. with. And as it read, script-wise, the movie was definitely a very R-rated movie. And how we shot it was definitely a very R-rated movie. Oh, I've got Tubi. I have Tubi. I actually have Tubi on the PlayStation, I think. But anyways, I was working on a movie called The Soloist. And like I said, as we shot it and as it was produced as an R-rated movie. But when the studio got around to it, the studio wanted to make it into a PG movie because they knew that we were releasing near Thanksgiving, and it totally ruined the movie. Eagle's gonna get shredded. Hold on to your shields. Sorry, I'm a good fighter. It's gonna blow you apart. Bye. It's okay. I'm gonna collect your limpets for all that. Where's your buddy?
Warning, incoming hatchbreak limpet. Under attack.
See ya. I hate to blow open a perfectly good ass. Last for very long, buddy. Now I'm gonna go collect all my junk. Oh, you can try to get away, huh?
Target shields online.
How much stuff's all over the dang ring system. Ah. Now I gotta collect all my stuff. Annoying. It's more of a nuisance than it is anything else.
Under attack.
Oh, another one. Bye.
Target shields offline.
Oh my god, you're doing this in the Diamondback Explorer? Really? Silly boy. Goodbye to your Diamondback Explorer. Wow, you're gonna make a frontal attack on an Anaconda with no shields and a Diamondback Explorer. That takes some guts. Look at all my stuff all over the place. I should probably deploy my collector limpet right now.
Target shields online.
Mind you, none of these guys have actually penetrated my shields. Bye-bye. Run, but you can't hide now. Bye-bye.
Target destroyed.
Alright, now I gotta collect my stuff. Lame. I know.
Cargo scoop deployed.
Now this is gonna be a pain in the butt having to collect all this stuff. That's what I have cargo limpets for. Collector limpets. Alright, go collect my stuff. Collector limpets.
Programming limpet drone. Cargo scoop retracted.
No, deploy it.
Cargo scoop deployed.
Give me all my stuff, collector limpets.
Collector limpet expired.
Do they only work for one thing?
Programming limpet drone.
Are you kidding me? There are plenty of valid targets. What are you talking about? They're all over this, spread all over the place. There's a whole string of them right there. Collect all that stuff.
Programming limpet drone.
Oh my gosh. Alright, well let's go fly through the field and try to find all the stuff that we got. You guys don't see any of this stuff, really? How about if I target it for you? See that? Can you collect that? How about that? Can you collect any of that? What up with my collector limpets? They should be collecting all this stuff for me. Is it that far away? Ah, this is gonna take forever. And all half of it's gonna go floating away anyway. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Alright, this is definitely in the range of my limpet, and you should be able to get it right now. Can you not see that?
Target destroyed.
You worthless collector limpets. How much did they blow open? Ah, they didn't really blow up too much. Oh, they're finally collecting things. honestly, I really don't care. It wasn't, in the grand scheme of things, I really didn't lose that much. It only looks like I lost maybe one asteroid worth of things. That's no big deal. Yeah, that isn't a huge loss. That's fine, I don't care. That, in the grand scheme of things, that's probably one asteroid worth of material out there.
Collector limpet expired. Programming limpet drone.
I hear all my stuff exploding. I don't get you with collector lipids. Sometimes I do not get you. Yeah, you know, honestly, I don't care. Honestly, I don't care.
Retracted.
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, they don't have too much of a, you know, they really can't, Warner Brothers really needs them to do that. It's cool that they made it, you know, for HBO, people that subscribe to HBO. It's really, really cool. I mean, it makes it a lot more... I wonder how much money they made off of that deal. That must have been a big deal. That's a pretty substantial deal, that all the new movies that are being released are, you know... Are they? Really? That's interesting. A rated R Mortal Kombat, it might actually be a good movie then. Mortal Kombat! God, that movie was terrible. That movie was awful. That movie was absolutely awful. I wonder if there's any way I can avoid having my collector or my cargo hold getting blown up by collector lipids. Yeah, I know. I don't think they've made... What there have been some good movies that have been made, and I just can't think of them. The Tomb Raider ones weren't terrible. The first one wasn't terrible. I think it was the first and second one weren't terrible. They weren't great, but they weren't terrible. It's still watchable, you know. But there have been some good video game adaptation movies. You know, when you're adapting any kind of intellectual property, it's going to be tough, especially if you have, you know, if that intellectual property has a fan base. Well, yeah, that really doesn't have anything to do with the video games now, does it? Yeah, that's just a crazy, weird movie, Super Mario Brothers. You know what was always funny to me is that Marvel, when Marvel was making like the very early Marvel movies, that one of them was Howard the Duck. This is like, really? You're gonna give Howard the Duck his own movie? I was like, Howard the Duck isn't even that good of a comic. You're gonna give it his own movie? Yeah, that was back when I was way into, like, you know, comics. That always surprised me. It's like, wait a minute, Spider-Man didn't get a movie, but Howard the Duck got a big movie? Howard the Duck. Quack, 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 quack. It's not the worst comic book movie ever, though. It's actually it's a pretty alright movie. I was just surprised that was what they decided to make into a movie. Yeah, I know, right? I forgot about the duck tits in that movie. Oh yeah, the Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie was good. There was another good Punisher movie, and I can't remember. It wasn't the one with Thomas Jane in it, though. It was the one... Maybe it was the Dolph Lundgren one that was good. The Punisher is one of those things where... I don't know. I never watched the TV series. I heard it was alright. I still don't think anyone's done the Punisher any justice for how cool that character is. I mean, basically, he's a Batman that isn't as rich. You know, he's like a poor Batman. I'll tell you who, and this is off the records. Hopefully no one in Hollywood's listening to this. Ben Affleck cannot stand Marvel because of the shit that they put him through with the Daredevil movies. I honestly think it's because Ben probably had a different idea of what Daredevil should be, and I honestly would love to see Ben's actual version of the Daredevil. But the movies themselves, he's not a big fan of Marvel after doing those movies. Oh, the things Ben had said about Marvel. Because before we did Argo, I did about a 6-month stint doing voiceover work with Ben at his house for a movie called To the Wonder by a director named Terrence Malick. I'm not going to get into the whole Terrence Malick thing and how Terrence Malick will put out like a 1,000-page script and then ask his actors to do another 1,000 pages worth of dialogue voiceover work. Because I adore Terrence Malick, and I think he's an amazing director. But it is kind of... He does ask a lot from his actors. Yeah, he's definitely Welfare Batman. But, so I spent a lot of time with Ben before we did Argo. And one of the questions he asked me was... I worked with another mixer when I worked with Ben that was my boss. The guy that was my mentor. And he was asking me, like, why isn't Jose doing these voiceovers with me? I was like, oh, and then he was like, oh, that's right, Jose's off with them bastards in Marvel, those assholes. And he got into a whole tirade about Marvel and how much he didn't like working with Marvel at the time. That was before Marvel had taken on the personnel that made Marvel great again. There have been quite a few changes of hand of management at Marvel Studios, and Marvel Studios didn't get good again until, or didn't get good period until the set of producers that I was affiliated with ended up working with them, and that's when the Marvel movies started getting better. I did Thor, I did the Avengers, what other Marvel movies? Spider-Man, what other Marvel movies did I work on? I've worked on a couple of them. Quite a few. Avengers 2. Avengers 1 and 2 is when they kind of started moving movie making out of Los Angeles and into Georgia. Avengers 1 was probably like the beginning of the end for Los Angeles being the place where people go to make movies, because we don't make movies here anymore. We make movies in Atlanta, Georgia, but we do not make movies here in Los Angeles anymore. We make award shows for the movies that they make in Georgia. Oh, and we do commercials. That's right. And certain TV shows we shoot here still, but we don't shoot movies here anymore. Pretty much most movies are made in Atlanta, I think, or Georgia. I think the going figure is about 97% of movies made now are made in Georgia. We get probably about 1% of that 3%. Canada gets the other 2%. Yeah, Georgia or Canada. UK, not so much. The UK will get an American production. I mean, not that there aren't British movies being made, because obviously there's British movies. Honestly, though, the movies that are made in Europe are made in Hungary. Hungary has a really cheap. It's got a bunch of film incentives set up in their economy, should I say? The UK not so much anymore, though. The UK is also very expensive to shoot in. That's why Pinewood, honestly, Pinewood Studios moved to Georgia, because England was getting too expensive.
Cargo scoop deployed.
Pinewood Studios is pretty much the studio that kind of put the rest of Los Angeles out of business. Pinewood, Georgia.
Engaged. Asteroid scan complete.
It isn't as much as you would think.
Detonation sequence.
It's not as much as you would think. Like I said, a lot of it's in Hungary. A lot of film production is done in Hungary.
It expired.
Hungary just has the resources. They've got the crew. They're in good proximity to the UK, that they can get crew from the UK, no problem. Yes. Yeah, Vancouver is a very hot. Canada's kind of gotten smart. And so productions they're really in kind of danger of losing their business there. If they're not smart, they'll lose it. Put medium strength in there. Yep. Oh, that's too much. We gotta find a good spot to see this thing. Hopefully this will be a medium or an average. And I can
Seismic charge disarmed.
good. Alright. Hopefully I can throw it in this one. It's a high strength, so we can see that with this. There we go. Yeah. You know what's gonna happen though. If you live in northern Kentucky.
Detonation in 10 seconds.
What's going to eventually happen is Georgia's going to figure out that they're not making as much money with their incentive as they wanted to. And states like Georgia and Tennessee, which are close to them, will then start yielding the benefits of that, reaping the benefits of that. Because Kentucky was starting to get up there. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. Georgia, when I last heard, was starting to get a lot of, and Ohio for that matter, you know, are both starting to get a lot of the spillover from Georgia. Their governments, their state governments are starting to see, you know, that they could possibly make money off of Hollywood. But it's short-lived. It's a real short-lived, because what's happening is, you know, Los Angeles is famously expensive to shoot in, right? Number one, because a lot of the people that you shoot, a lot of the locations that you shoot at here know exactly, and it's got nothing to do with our economy. It has more of the idea that everyone here knows what they're entitled to when a movie company asks to shoot on their location, right? And we're just talking about location shooting, right? We're not talking about resources. So whenever you go to wherever you go to in Los Angeles, most property owners know, okay, you need to give me this, and this. I'm entitled to this. You know, I better be getting this, and you know, they know exactly what to ask for. Whereas at least back in the day in Georgia, people had no idea. They'd be like on the, you know, the front porch with lemonade, trying to give lemonade to the crew members because they're like, oh man, y'all's shooting here. You know, that's so cool. You know, but now they're starting to get smart.
Programming limpet drone.
Oh, really? That's interesting. That's funny. But anyway, yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is that, like, you know, they'll go out to places and they'll be like, okay, well, you know, when you go to a location that's outside of Los Angeles or California, most people have no idea that, you know, what they're entitled to when a movie production comes out and shoots there. You know, people here have just gotten smart to it. So that isn't necessarily the economy and the taxes here. It's all about the locations and what people will expect to pay for a movie company to shoot a movie on their property. And you'll get some crazy demands, but if, you know, a director or production company wants it bad enough, they'll pay it. You know, if the director is insistent upon their movie looking this way, you know, they'll pay the charge, whatever it takes to get that location. You know, and people in Georgia just were not privy to that, you know, when the whole thing started. And like I said, there were literally people out there on the front lawns with cookies and lemonade, like handing out to, you know, people on set. Oh, really? Interesting. I wonder how much they they asked for, and whether or not they got exactly what they wanted. I never actually saw Gotti. What's up, Carl? How you doing? Yeah, so a lot of people won't, you know, they probably won't, oh, I cannot speak Russian, Carl. But how are you doing? But yeah, you know, a lot of these small towns don't know, you know, when you go to them and shoot there. Like, for example, we shot in Chattanooga for a movie before. Hi, Carl, how you doing? And those people had no idea they were just all in it for the, like, man, a big movie shooting here. But they had no idea, you know, what we would do to their town. And when, you know, Hollywood comes to shoot in your town, you better get all your stuff and try to figure out how you're going to get to work the next day, because we will go down and shut down roads and, you know, do all kinds of shutting down and ask people to move, not stand there, don't stand here. You know, it's a big ordeal. It's a big ordeal. But Georgia will eventually find out they're not making money off of the incentive. Their deal is that you get 25% of your budget back before you even start shooting. So if you get like a $300 million movie, you're getting 25% of that back before you even open the doors on your trucks. And so, like, you know, what their deal is they're trying to get people to move to Georgia. Which they've had. I've had a few friends move to Georgia, and you know, there've been a couple of them, but not as many as you know they would like. You know, not the amount of people that they wanted to get to move to Georgia. They were trying to aim to get like directors, and you know, none of those people want to move to Georgia. They want to still live in Los Angeles. You know, why would they move to Georgia? They got everything in Los Angeles. You know, so they're not going to get, and they're going to get a couple of high dollar personnel to move there, but then, you know, the only people they're going to really get to move there are the crew members that are willing to move from Los Angeles to Georgia. You know, and that's not really the demographic they're shooting for. They're shooting for the really rich people, and they're just not going to get that, unfortunately. Georgia's a lovely state, I understand, but, you know, when you've got the difference between living in Georgia and Los Angeles, you know, people are going to pick Los Angeles, especially Los Angeles people. Anaconda. I do not have a federal Corvette yet. I'm working toward the federal Corvette. But this is an Anaconda, Carl. What do you fly? Do you have a Corvette? There you go. I just made up for everything that got lost in the cargo hold. Oh, actually, I have more now.
Cargo scoop retracted.
I was wondering. But, you know, Georgia will have a good run. Yeah, I'll talk to you later, Mike. I'll probably be playing this game tomorrow. I might actually end the stream soon because I need to eat some food. I'm hungry. But it was good talking to you, Mike. We'll talk again soon. Yeah, I need to eat some dinner. We've already gotten to almost 4 hours of this stream too. I think I'm gonna call it a night as well. Go scrounge up some dinner and eat some dinner. Finish some and drink another cup of coffee, I think. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna probably continue mining here, but I'm gonna do it offline. And hopefully by the time we get around to tomorrow, we'll actually get rid of some of this stuff. That's a lot of musgravite. Hopefully I'll have the whole cargo hold full for tomorrow, and we'll go make some money. Go add some money to the whole big stack of money I've got already. Oh yeah? The Python's a good ship. The Python's a good ship. I'm really enjoying the Anaconda. I mean, I could have probably got a Corvette, but I don't have the federal ranking yet. So that's why I want Anaconda. That's honestly the only reason that I went Anaconda over the Corvette, is because I don't have my federal ranking yet. I've only been playing this game for 4 days now. 4 or 5 days I've been playing this game for now. So I haven't had a chance to work in my federal ranking yet. I'm also trying to get elite, so I can try to go elite on trading, so I can get into Jameson. Which I'm pretty close to elite on both. Pretty close. For definitely trade rank, I'm definitely about to go into elite, and Trailblazer as well, or Explorer. I mean, I guess it helped that I have all the experience that I had on the PC. I don't have my PC anymore. So I moved over to the PlayStation, and I had to liquidate everything I had on the PC, which left me about $550 million I had to start off with. So I bought a crate, and then just decided to trade the crate in for an Anaconda. So I went from Sidewinder to crate to Anaconda within the last 4 to 5 days. And once I get around to working on the federal ranking, then I'll get a Corvette at some point. I'm not in no big hurry, though. The Python's a good ship, though. It's a very good ship. I had a Python on the when I was on PC. I never really used it that much, though, honestly. I mean, once you get an Anaconda, you really don't use any of your other ships. I mean, that's just this is how it goes. I started off on the PC. When I was still on the PC, I started with a Sidewinder, obviously. Went to an Adder, then went immediately to a Cobra, then to a Viper, then back to the Cobra, then Asp, and then to a crate. Had a couple crates, and eventually got the Anaconda. Did I get an Anaconda? Yeah, eventually to the Anaconda. Python's a fine ship, though. It's a fine, fine ship. Good stuff. I think I'm going to, like I said, I think I'm gonna go ahead and sign off, guys. I think I'm gonna sign off and call it a night. Mainly because I don't want to bore anyone else with the with deep core mining. You can be boring, but you do make a whole ton load of money off of it if you're good at it. I might still be too far out from my hotspot for me to get any good hits off this double hotspot. I think what I'm gonna do. Oh, I should have went for the center of the double hotspot there. Yeah, I think I am going to call it a night for the stream, and I'll probably continue to mine here. Who's this? Oh. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it quits for the stream. And we'll probably get more of this again tomorrow. So, if you're a part of the stream tonight, thank you so much for hanging out with me. You guys were an amazing part of my day. I'm hoping it was a good part of your day.
Collector limpet expired.
Thank you, ship. Be awesome. Be happy. Be awesome to each other. And stay healthy. And with that being said, I'm going to say goodnight, and I will see everyone back here tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye.